of funding adversaries of Israel to the detriment of Israeli residents. Israeli officials said it was the deadliest attack on their own soil in years. 14 members of the East Bruton's W.S. Neal High School football team chose to be baptized this week. Head coach Hugh Fountain and others had been participating in a Bible study with some of the players, which resulted in 14 players dedicating their lives to God. I'm Russ Jones.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hello, this is Sky Mosley for the Alabama Gazette, your hometown conservative newspaper. The Alabama Gazette, always published under the banner of God, family, and country. They share your principles, your values, and the Alabama Gazette has the courage to defend those convictions in print. The Gazette celebrates their 24th anniversary, October 26th. There will be a big to-do downtown at their beautiful offices. The public is invited, food and fun for the entire family. Meanwhile, please consider advertising with the Alabama Gazette. They are most worthy of your support. Give them a call, 356-6700. Pro-life, pro-family, pro-America. That's the Alabama Gazette. 356-6700. Remember, advertising space is limited for that big 24th anniversary issue, so give them a call right now, 356-6700. The Alabama Gazette, informative, honest, trustworthy, your conservative alternative. That's the Alabama Gazette, 356-6700.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of two, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
There are those that think I'm a very stable genius.
Thank you, Dr. Pepper, and thank you, Chancellor, or Dr. Paper, and thank you, Chancellor.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by God. You know the thing.
Hey, mister, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a fella in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can.
I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader and Sky Mosley both here in the studio with me. How you gentlemen doing?
Wonderful. Rock and roll.
And, man, what a weekend to be under the weather. I feel a little better now, enough to be able to do a show, but I would not have been able to do one Saturday. And of course, through a sick mind, well, my mind's already sick as is, but you know what I'm saying. Through that haze of medication and just sleeping, trying to get better, I see all this breaking news. And it is horrific. Of course, we're talking about this very well-planned attack by Hamas.
Yep.
Now, by very well planned, this is not some a bunch of guys got together. They're like, yeah, let's take it to the Israelis. No, this was planned in a very detailed way. They first used drones, quadcopter drones, to drop bombs and destroy early detection systems by the Israelis. They had about at least 6 different points of launch where, right where the Gaza border ends and it becomes Israel. They had broken through at 6 different spots. They then also had the paragliders that were powered.
Over that concert?
Right.
Yeah.
And it was very clear there were troops who were there commandos who were there to just kill people.
Mm-hmm.
There were also groups of commandos there to kidnap people.
Lots of kidnappings.
Some of the most horrifying images are this rave that was going on there in southern Israel. And it's very ominous because you see all these folks at a normal rave kind of dancing, carrying on, and you can tell it's international. Like, they're people from all walks of life. And in the distance, you can see these paragliders coming in. And then the later images, I don't even want to describe, but it was rape. It was murder. Kidnapping not just children, but women from all ages, grandmothers stolen. And as you watch this, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, well, they're about to get they know what they're doing. But do they? Well, maybe they do, because broke today that the Saudi, Arabian-Israeli negotiations, how they're normalizing ties, that's off.
Of course
Saudi Arabia said that's off.
Of course it is.
You're seeing more and more threats coming from Iran and Hezbollah, which is there in southern Lebanon, just to the north of Israel. And, you can go into the long history of the Jewish state and go all the way back to the British and British Palestine and all this stuff, the early Zionist movement there in the late 1800s. And you can talk about the wars there in the 40s, the wars and the Yom Kippur War, which this attack yesterday happened almost 50 years to the day, using a high holiday as a means of springing a surprise attack. Again, this was coordinated in a way that is not just a ragtag group. This has been planned for a long, long time.
Logistics extremely intricate.
Right.
Involved.
Right.
Precise.
And, I think if you look at the average person out there, if you look at, just look at Israeli politics. There are a lot of folks that would love peace. And they'll take peace at 2 state. There are a lot of people arguing, we want peace. We're tired of the status quo. But very much to some of the more hardliners' credit, if we drop our arms, guess what happens?
Right. There's people out there that don't want
more
peace,
Israel.
Joey. There's a lot of people that on both sides.
And they're
don't want
using civilians as their sacrifice for their unholy ends. It's just awful to see. And, then you see it's here in America. I'm sure y'all saw the protest and the counter protests as there's folks out there celebrating what Hamas did.
Yeah. Well, those kind of people are coming in more and more every day across the southern border. When they start asking these people where they're from, not many of them from Mexico.
Isn't that the term? Democratic socialist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a phrase that goes back to the 1930s as well.
But it looks like essentially Israel, in reaction, they've now mobilized 100,000, if not more, troops.
They're calling them out. Yep.
Oh, an incursion is on. It's a complete siege, cutting off all power, all water. It is, it's already ugly, and it's going to continue to get uglier. But I was telling you off air, Eddie, I can understand the history of this conflict, but I wouldn't have the same restraint as the Israeli government had until this moment, I suppose. Because it is just an absolute mess, and it is the playground of all sorts of interest all around the region. That's what's so damn sad about it. You get this close to peace, you get this close to breakthroughs, and
not going to have it.
There's Iran funding all this stuff, helping to plan all this stuff, which seems plain as day. I mean, we'll get to Secretary Blinken and the Biden administration talking about, the $6 billion we unfroze for them. That was always theirs. We just unfroze it, and it can only be used for humanitarian stuff.
Right.
And it's like, anybody who runs a budget knows, a household budget knows what a load of crap that is.
They know. The sooner they're done, the better.
Yeah, Iran looks at that and goes, "Oh, we got $6 billion extra dollars. We can use this other. We now use $6 billion on whatever we want."
Nice timing on that one.
It's obvious. This is obvious. Stevie Wonder sees that, man.
Like, this is absolutely awful.
You know, it was just last week we were discussing the situation in Ukraine and how the alliances with NATO, etc., kind of harkened back to Archduke Ferdinand.
Yeah.
And the alliances of World War I. And we were wondering, we were talking about, you know, a flashpoint.
Right.
Well,
this could easily be one. Easily, because you now have a carrier group being moved there to the East Mediterranean, right near Israel. The U.S., I think it's the Ford, the Gerald Ford.
Most advanced of its kind.
Yep. You're starting to see, I mean, all sorts of noises being made by the Iranians and the larger areas in the region. And, you know, it's, you know, the Israelis are saying, get us back some ammunition. You know, the stuff you sent over to Ukraine?
Yeah.
So I think that is going to be provided in the coming days. But this is just awful. And, you know, who's to blame? Well, obviously Hamas and Iran. But those who turned a blind eye are also to blame.
They're enablers.
Yeah.
As well. And there are many.
272-9228. And, you know, like I said, plenty of reaction coming out and more clips coming out by the moment. And, you know, this is one of those times where you see folks, it's a very heated, emotional issue for all sorts of good reasons. But you see, like, it was in the news that, I don't know if y'all talked about this much on the show before, Sky, but Randall Woodfin, the mayor of Birmingham, put out initially, "I stand with Israel," the big Israeli flag, and then he pulled it down. He deleted the tweet.
What's that about?
Yeah, I guess he got backlash. I'm like, hey, man, once you put it up there, you might as well stick by it, no matter the blowback you're getting.
His overlords called and said, hey, take that down.
All right.
Dummy.
You've also got, I mean, you see where Bruce Pearl, he's always been an outspoken opponent of Iran, but Bruce Pearl not pulling punches by any means, Auburn's head coach. The entire, pretty much, Alabama congressional delegation condemned this attack. Both Senators Tuberville and Bredd, very strong statements on their part. I believe I saw a tweet this morning that Tuberville's office is asking if you know of any Alabamians still stuck there in Israel, let my office know. We're helping to coordinate efforts to get them out.
We had Senator Tuberville on earlier.
Good.
Alabama Unfiltered, and he was very, very strong, minced no words about where he stands.
And, you know, you can do the autopsy on how the heck did this happen? Like, how did the Israelis miss this? They're some of the best in the world in terms of their technology and, you know, security assets. And the reason I think they missed is, number one, it was a holiday, and number two, this was incredibly well planned, like we laid out earlier.
And very old school.
Yeah.
It didn't involve technology that you and me and Sky and everybody else is used to.
Right. And then we get into, okay, what have the Biden administration's actions led to this moment? What about the rest of the region? What are they up to in this regard? It is a perilous time. And, you know, the one kicker that really gets me is the Iranians are putting out this statement that all our proxies, essentially, in the region, if the U.S. gets involved, all our proxies are going to hit whatever U.S. assets we want, including the, you know, militias all there in Iraq. So we go and invade Iraq, we do all that, and now it's essentially a vassal state of Iran?
Yeah.
Score another one.
Yeah.
For nation building.
My goodness.
So it bums out, man.
272-9228. Let's go to Cedric, who's on line too. Hey, Cedric.
Hey, good afternoon, three wise men.
How you doing?
How you doing, Cedric?
Listen, this Israeli situation is quite simple. They are fighting for their existence, period. You've got the people of Hamas and the people of the West Bank being used as proxies and as human shields for nations like Iran and even other nations like Saudi Arabia and others who are not brave enough to punch Israel in the face. So they want to attack on a holiday in the middle of the night. But the fact remains, the more weak leaders we elect and we have in positions of power, the more actors like Hamas and Iran will play their game.
Right.
Look at all of this compared to when Trump was in office. We had peace treaties being signed. People were in line. He went to North Korea and said, hey, listen, hey, crazy man, come to the table, because the alternative is us destroying you. So we're not going to play games. You're going to come to the table, and we're going to negotiate and reinforce peace, because your alternative is defeat. We can't have that type leadership with Joe Biden and the Democrats in Washington, D.C. Look at their statement. Anyone who doesn't just outright condemn the violence, the massacre, and the human rights attacked by these terrorists, then you must want Israel and other innocent people from across the world to be destroyed and massacred. But it's double talk, it's double speak, and it's outright hypocrisy. But to me, seeing this, it reminds me of a spiritual truth, that there's still ancient evil in the world, and it does not sleep. And it will attack us when we least expect it, even on our sacred holidays. And those who want to play these semantic games and the game of musical chairs, pronouns, there's real evil in the world, and it's crouched at the door, waiting on opportunities to destroy us. I hope that the people of Israel rally around their leaders, and I hope the leaders of Israel understand you're in the midst of destruction, and you must stand united to fight for your existence. And I hope that the American people understand this time, this moment. This is not simply Israel fighting for its existence. That's very important, but this is also a proxy war between the globalists and those who want to uplift civil liberties and freedom. As simple as I can get with this, please pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Continue to stay vigilant and read between the lines. When Joe Biden and that White House and the Democrats released billions to Iran, it was on purpose, it was deliberate, and it's well timed. And I know that the leaders of Israel are looking very hard at the double agents within their government and within their military, because this was so well planned and coordinated. You cannot tell me that, just like in America, throughout our protection mechanisms, there are double agents giving intel to the enemy for the simple purpose of destruction. You guys stay vigilant.
Thank you, Cedric.
Thank you, Cedric.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the program, comment, or react to the weekend's news. And it's still ongoing. You're saying, looking at Fox, our monitor here in the TV, that Trey Yingst, I think is his name. Yeah. You know, I don't always have a lot of respect for journalists, but the ones there in the middle of the war zones, because I've seen that guy pretty much in all of them so far, they really are in the middle of everything. But, you know, get a load of this particular clip I'm about to share on the live stream. And again, folks, you can go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube. That's Joey Clark Live on YouTube. This was the National Security Advisor for Biden, Jake Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
8 days ago.
Absolutely.
This is 8 days ago, folks. Take it away, Jake.
And what we said is we want to depressurize, de-escalate, and ultimately integrate the Middle East region. The war in Yemen is in its 19-month of truce. For now, the Iranian attacks against U.S. forces have stopped. Our presence in Iraq is stable. I emphasize for now because all of that can change. And the Middle East region is quieter today than it has been in 2 decades.
That didn't age well, did it?
Bet you can't get a comment out of him today.
No, he said, well, I did say it could change. Like, then what good is it what you're saying here, man?
Double speak, man.
No, it's just wishful thinking. Like, the Iranians in particular are not good actors in this. Hamas is not a good actor in this. They're not just like, oh, we're looking out for rights and we want development. We want economic development. Give me a break.
They want to annihilate Israel.
Yes.
They always have. That's never changed. It's never changed. I don't understand how people fall for this kind of crap. It's never changed. Just because they hadn't done something in a while doesn't mean they suddenly had a change of heart.
Right. Well, and it's like you could put them in a box without going to full total war, which is like what Trump was doing with them. Like Trump, actually, they tried to get Trump to go to war with Iran. Remember when they shot down an unmanned drone?
Yeah, right.
And it's like, Trump's like, why would
really
I?
beat the drum, man. Yeah.
Trump said, was there anybody killed? Our people? No.
Well,
And you look at that, it's like, why are we all flying a drone that close to their airspace? It's stuff like that, okay, clearly you got to put Iran in a box. But giving them unfreezing $6 billion of their dollars does not help that by any means.
A weak United States is an enabler to the crazy people of the world.
We get weaker by the day.
And it's just more proof of it.
Right, and then you go from one extreme to the other. Look, I heard y'all were talking about it on Alabama Unfiltered, the Mike Pence comments. Like, what an a-hole. Excuse me, pardon me. On a day like today, you turn around and blame Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Donald Trump for this because of words they said?
Isn't that the typical, I guess you'd say, screenplay they usually go back to?
It was a YouTube video that caused it.
There you go.
Remember that?
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah, I've really completely lost.
That's how you can tell they're so far out of just touch with reality.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services and their Pest Pro. Ashley and her team are ready to help you with any of your potential pest control problems. Could be termites.
I don't know about you, but here lately I've hit spider webs like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. It's starting at my place
tomorrow,
here.
man.
Well, they can take care of that there at Pest Pro. Now, have you ever gotten like a true infestation of cockroaches?
I have had a rental house one time, yes, when the people finally got evicted.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the La Cucarachas moved in full effect.
That's it.
Yeah, it's one thing where you see a couple, but
Pest Pro took care of it for me.
There you go.
It took several, this is no lie, it took several days in a row of treatment.
Right.
It took, I think I still owe Zach lunch, but it was accomplished.
Well, and of course, they can help you with any emergency problem you might have with those little pests. But here's what you should do. Just make Pest Pro Services your everyday pest control company. They'll get you on a quarterly schedule. You'll get to know these folks. It's not just the great technology they bring, the great expertise. They're great people.
Oh, they're great folks, man.
Local folks always giving back to the community. So you can always call Pest Pro Services at 265-9990. It's 265-9990. You can also go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and the team there that Joey and Eddie and Sky from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your fall market report on real estate in the River Region. From January through September of 2023, close to 3,600 homes have sold and closed in our area through area realtors. Our average sales price is approximately $250,000, which makes us one of the most affordable areas in the state to buy a house. So far this year, sellers that listed with an area realtor were blessed with a sales price that was 98% of the listed price or possibly above listed price. Because we have had a severe shortage of houses on the market, the buyers have had to look a little longer to find a home that satisfied their needs. Even with higher rates, local mortgage lenders have found ways for buyers to buy down rates on their mortgages and making the transition from tenants to home ownership possible. For all the details, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
It's the 70th Alabama National Fair now through October 15th.
Tuesday night is Pink Out for a Purpose. Help bring awareness to breast cancer. Wear something pink and get in for $7. Wristbands $20.
Let them see you in me. Wednesday, elevate your spirit with JJ Weeks on the outdoor stage with an evening of contemporary Christian favorites.
It's the best 10 days of fall.
The Alabama National Fair.
Sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery, Hyundai Motor Manufacturing Alabama, and Coca-Cola.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today, now in the foot care aisle.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Now, before we continue on, let's go right to this Mike Pence clip. It's remarkable.
Well, I am, but let me begin at where we ought to start. I mean, that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan has emboldened the enemies of freedom around the world, and now war is raging in Eastern Europe. And President Joe Biden's kowtowing for the last 2.5 years to the mullahs in Iran, lifting sanctions, begging them to get back in the Iran nuclear deal, and then paying $6 billion in a ransom for hostages. I think...
Yeah, so far we're like, okay, you're in the ballpark there, Mike.
Set the conditions for this unprecedented terrorist attack by Hamas against Israel. But I also believe this is what happens when we have leading voices like Donald Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Ron DeSantis signaling retreat from America's role as leader of the free world. What happened in Ukraine was an unprovoked invasion by Russia. What happened this weekend was an unprovoked invasion by Hamas into Israel. And I really believe now more than ever, both the debate within the Republican Party and the debate within America is whether or not we're going to once again stand without apology as the leader of the free world, as the arsenal of democracy. The heartbreaking images coming out of both of these theaters of operations remind us that America is the indispensable leader of the free world. And if I'm president of the United States, we'll lead from American strength.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah, sounds very expensive. You know, Donald Trump was your president while you were vice president, Mr. Pence. Seems like Russia didn't invade and Hamas didn't cause any problems during those times. Maybe if you actually instill the fear of God into folks without also getting involved in all sorts of crazy wars, I think Trump would have gotten out of Afghanistan as we should have in a much stronger way than the madness of the Biden administration. But we should have gotten out there. And that's what drives me nuts. There are folks like Mike Pence who don't seem to understand. When you fight a year-long war 20 years over in Afghanistan, that doesn't make you look strong. Nope. When you send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine and it looks like Russia is still going to win this thing, it doesn't make you look strong. And for all the money and weapons and support we give Israel, how could one or two moves by the Biden administration put them in such harm's way? Yeah, I'm so tired of our position of strength actually coming from a place that seems very insecure. Why can't we be the leader of the free world and also be, as Trump would say, smart? Can't we be smart about it, Mike? And at least Ramaswamy, Trump, and I don't trust DeSantis. I don't even know why he's throwing it. Oh, it's because they're beating you in the polls.
Could be.
But I think Ramaswamy and Trump understand, yeah, we have to be strong. We need a defense base in the sense of like industrial base. We need to produce more of our stuff. Did you know that a lot of our supply chains to build, say, these new F-35 stealth planes, it goes back to China?
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff like that. which I've heard
Can't
both
get
Trump
your chips,
and
man.
somebody like Vivek Ramaswamy say we need to do. So I don't know what Mike Pence is talking about.
He's talking about politics, Joe.
Yeah.
Let's go to Wayne. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Wayne, what's up, buddy?
Good afternoon, fellas.
How you doing?
Here on what you're saying, Jody. That's just crazy. But, you know, it is a concern. Let's elaborate. I don't know just how great the concern is, but I think it's real. You know, supposedly this happened by surprise. No one knew that they had infiltrated Israel, and Israel, to the best of my knowledge, has pretty good security.
Right.
Well, we've got a wide open gate at the southern border, and as has been mentioned, how many thousands of people have come in here undetected that are circling places
Fighting
and
age,
waiting
single
for the
men.
signal.
Yep.
Yeah, waiting for the signal.
Yeah.
So it's concerning. I don't know how big a concern is it. What do you think?
No, I think you're right. You know, it's now fashionable. I've seen this from, I first saw it with Senator Katie Brett, but Vivek Ramaswamy has been talking about this a lot too. Pretty much everybody cool in the GOP is talking about a war with Mexico or using military assets to take out the cartels. And to that I say, okay, but you better be ready for them to start triggering things inside this country.
Right.
Precisely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think I mean certainly those people are not stupid, but I assume, but they have to know that there are ne'er-do-wells waiting for the signal.
You bet.
So be aware. It's not enough to be safe. Be aware.
Yeah, and it's just a shame that we can't have smart adult conversations about foreign policy and securing this nation. It all leads to either you're just hateful and you don't care about the poor plight of the Palestinians, or you're just weak. You're not strong like me, Mike Pence. You know, I've been sleeping with a teacher for 38 years. Okay, Mike. Thanks for that.
Well, you know, it'd be very difficult to put sleeper cells in the United States.
Right.
You'd have to have them walk all the way across.
Appreciate it, Wayne.
Walk all the way
thank you,
across
Wayne.
the border.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, and I think
easy.
Vivek just did a trip to the northern border and said, "Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming through the northern border now."
Yeah.
In fact, it's easier. He walked up to one path, and it literally is the gate you're supposed to go through, and there's a sign, a legit sign that says hiking trail this way. You go through the hiking trail, you're across the border.
We don't care. Come on in.
Man.
We'll pay your bills. Yeah.
No, but this is
What you
just,
mean?
from seeing the windup, it looked like you got a new generation in the Arab countries working with the Israelis, working with the United States. I thought what Jared Kushner did and these breakthroughs, the Abraham Accords, was sheer genius. And Kushner deserves other criticisms for certain. But on that, brilliant job. And to just see it squandered by thinking, well, if we de-escalate with the Iranians, you're not de-escalating with the Iranians. You're just letting them up off the mat.
Oh, you're letting your guard down. That's all we've done.
Absolutely a shame. Well, and to Wayne's question about this being a surprise, I think it's because it was incredibly, again, well coordinated. When you are very subtly using drone quadcopters to destroy the early warning systems, well, you've got guys coordinated, ready to go at 6, if not more, points of launch all across that border. And then you've got paragliders coming in.
Yeah.
Well, and apparently they tried to go by sea, too, but they were found out pretty quick.
I saw the ships intercepting them.
Yeah. No, and you do it on a holiday like this. It's awful. And it is bizarre, though, to see images of that rave. Like that dance rave party with one of the women, young women who was kidnapped was, I believe, they've identified her as of German origin. But to see that rave that expresses all these international folks there dancing like hippies or whatever, and then right across the border there's Gaza. Like we're not solving our problems. Again, we're just managing them. And sometimes those problems have a way of coming back and biting you in the backside. 272-9228. I wish I was not feeling under the weather because I would be a little more over the top than I am, but I have to watch myself, folks. Just pace myself. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And you've been by there, Eddie.
Oh, yeah, I've been by there.
Sky, you've been by there yet?
I have not.
You might want to check it out.
Lovely lobby.
They can help you with, of course, testosterone problems if you got low T. But also it could be like, hey, I'm maybe a slow metabolism. That was, in fact, the issue with you, right, Eddie?
That was the issue with me. Or you could be, it's a lot less invasive way to get your prostate numbers.
Oh, yeah. When they do your testosterone numbers, they're also going to do a PSA score.
I get it.
Yeah.
Good marker for prostate health there without the invasive procedure. Oh, and they also can help you, and this is a little more sensitive, but you got performance issues like, what do they call it, PE or ED? Yeah, no, that's fun. Well, they can help you with all these problems there at Montgomery Men's Health. If you've got a problem that's unique to you as a man, well, they're reinventing men's health care, looking out for you. So in particular, if you're looking to see maybe I've lost my edge, it could be low T. For only $99, you can get your testosterone numbers along with that PSA score. And if you do, in fact, have low T, they have treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change your life. Most men after these treatments experience higher energy, better gains at the gym.
Brother.
That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, and you might even notice an increased sex drive.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot right with it, in fact. So give them a call today, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com and be sure to tell them you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Yeah, just the Mike Pence line, like all three people that are beating you in the polls, it's their fault for not being tough enough. Right. Give me a break.
Did anybody ask Mike what if there's anything he could have done to prevent this?
Right.
Anybody put that question on him?
Yeah, it's just talk. Right. And I'm glad. I think more and more Americans are waking up to this fact.
Oh, no doubt.
We need to be strong, but we also need to be smart. That maybe we can handle adult conversations instead of boiling everything down to you're hateful or you're weak.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a break. 272-9228. Now, in a second, I want to play the key clip. This was Secretary of State Tony Blinken on with little Georgie Stephanopoulos. Little Georgie. Oh, look at Georgie. The women love him. Like, I mean, him and his smart glasses there. Like, the lady still looks like a 16-year-old. Actually, if that's what 16-year-olds look like, we need to check the water supply.
He's a bit Milhouse looking for me.
Yeah.
Ooh, Milhouse.
Mm-hmm.
No, but remember, he was a heartthrob there when he was the Clinton press secretary.
I think that was fake news.
Oh, yeah, you were older than me.
Yeah.
Y'all were
I
actually...
never saw it. I always thought, who's this little leprechaun?
And he tried growing a beard so he didn't look so young. And
again, I want to grab and go, give me your gold.
But let's jump in here midstream. This is little Georgie Stephanopoulos talking to Tony Blinken. And, Blinken kind of steps in it here.
Yeah. That would significantly advance stability in the region. It would offer so many greater prospects for people in all of these countries. And there are basically two paths that are before the region right now. One is the path of normalization, of integration, of people working together. And by the way, in that and on that path, it's not a substitute for resolving the differences between Israelis and Palestinians. On the contrary, it needs to be used to advance that effort as well. But that's one path. The other path is what we've seen from Hamas: terrorism, horror, and something that offers not only nothing to people throughout the region, it offers nothing to the Palestinians. On the contrary, everything that Hamas does makes their situation, their plight, even worse. They bring nothing but death and destruction, not only to Israelis, but to Palestinians. So the paths are clear. We know which path we want to follow. We're determined to do that. But right now, the focus has to be on helping Israel as it defends itself against this terrorist attack.
And, all that's fine. It's just words. But, Tony, maybe there are some folks that don't want to go to the path of normalization. So it might be wise to have in your back pocket a means of intimidating them into that direction. You can either normalize and be a normal country, or you're going to get hurt.
No, we're
very
in the
badly.
United States. We like to bring briefcases of cash and then wonder why when they spend all the cash, they don't go our way anymore.
And they act like he's such a passive observer in this. Us three in this room, most of the people out there listening, we're passive observers of most of this stuff. The Secretary of State, no, he's pretty active in this. Let's keep going here because he kind of says something. Maybe he knows what he's saying or not, but
Does dealing with Hamas mean dealing with Iran? Was Iran behind this?
Look at little Georgie.
So there's a long relationship between Iran and Hamas. In fact, Hamas wouldn't be Hamas without the support that it's gotten over many years from Iran. We haven't yet seen direct evidence that Iran was behind this particular attack or involved, but the support over many years is clear. It's one of the reasons that over the last couple of years, we have been resolutely working against Iran's support for terrorism, for destabilizing actions in other countries. We've sanctioned more than 400 Iranian individuals and entities precisely for the kind of support that they've offered Hamas in the past. And
we sanctioned them.
That'll teach them.
That's Washington's favorite tool to sanction. Most of the time, like 90-something% of the time, it doesn't work.
Right.
It's something that we remain extremely vigilant about.
As you know, many in the GOP are laying blame on the Biden administration in the wake of that recent deal to unfreeze Iranian assets that were unfrozen for humanitarian purposes in return for the release of those American hostages. Here's what Steve Scalise, one of the candidates for Speaker, put out yesterday. The Biden administration must be held accountable for its appeasement of these Hamas terrorists, including handing over billions of dollars to them and their Iranian backers. Your response?
Well, look, I'm not going to comment on specific comments by individuals. I can say this. It's unfortunate that some are, in effect, saying things that may be motivated by politics at a time when so many lives have been lost and Israel remains under attack. And the facts are these, and should be well known. This involved Iranian resources, not American taxpayer dollars. These were resources that Iran had acquired from the sale of its oil that were stuck in a bank. In this case in South Korea. They have always been entitled to use those funds under our law and under our sanctions for humanitarian purposes, and the funds were moved from one bank to another to facilitate that. By the way, not a single dollar from that account has actually been spent to date, and in any event, it's very carefully and closely regulated by the Treasury Department to make sure that it's only used for food, for medicine, for medical equipment. So
that's great.
Some who are advancing this false narrative, they're either misinformed or they're misinforming, and either way it's wrong.
It's the same people that can't keep a budget on anything.
Right.
Now, explain how he's wrong there, because I mean, he said that they're watching it like hawks.
Right.
Like they haven't spent they can only spend that money that we unfroze.
Well, we can start with the obvious that he's lying. We can start with that.
For milk money and lunch money and diapers. That's it.
Right. We can start with just the simple fact we all know he's lying. But we can also just kind of look at how they cannot produce a budget on anything. They can't track money. When Ukraine, they end up giving Ukraine $6 billion too much. They said, "Oops, we lost it." So how can I ever take anything seriously that comes out of this jackass's mouth?
Right. Well, and say you've got like a nerd husband of yours, ladies out there listening, and your nerd husband, whenever some new Pokemon item drops, is like breaking the bank. So you're like, honey, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you like 10 grand because she's the breadwinner. We are talking 2023. Honey, I'm going to give you 10 grand, but you can only use it on home improvements. You can't use it on Pokemon stuff. And he's like, okay. And then he doesn't. He uses all that, but then he uses the rest of his money. He's like, now I got 10 grand extra. I can go use the rest of my money on Pokemon stuff. You're like, is this really what you're doing with your money? You think other people out there, if they're serious about it, if you want to catch them all,
right,
that's how you spend the money. Or if you want to, if you're Iran, wipe Israel off the face of the map.
There you go.
Secretary Blinken is completely playing games with words, and he knows that.
Well, and Stephanopoulos, I think, catches on to this.
Oh, okay.
Are we in for a long war?
Oh, no.
The challenge for Israel and the challenge for all who support Israel and oppose horrific acts of terrorism is, again, to take measures that provide for accountability for what's happened and also to do our best to ensure that this doesn't happen again. And that is likely to take some time, and it's fraught with very difficult decisions for the Israelis to make. I don't want to speculate, get ahead, get into hypotheticals, but this is now we're 24 hours or so into this. As I said, there remains intense fighting in the Gaza area, and the focus has to be on helping Israel recover the territory that has been taken briefly by Hamas, protecting its citizens.
God, just enough of that guy.
You ever heard the phrase CYOA? Cover your own butt.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he's doing. He's trying. We had nothing to do with this. Separate.
No,
Crawdad and back.
Deflect.
Right.
I think earlier in the interview, Stephanopoulos says it is fungible, right?
Fungible?
Like money's fungible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. 272.
What else did you expect?
9228.
Hey,
yeah,
who elected him, by the way? Oh, nobody did. That's right. That's half the damn problem.
Oh, no, but the pros are back in charge. The career people like Tony Blinken and Jake Sullivan.
Did you feel it?
Yeah, my wallet.
Mm-hmm. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Beautiful fall weather continues today. Great weather for the fair. And on this Columbus Day, sunshine, comfortable, nice breeze. High temperature up to about 79. Tonight, mostly clear. Not quite as chilly tonight. Overnight low 53. A little warmer tomorrow with a high around 84. Once again, mostly sunny and dry. Risk of scattered showers Wednesday and Thursday. Upper 70s both days. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Yes?
Howdy, ma'am. I'm Bill, the electrician.
Oh, hello, Bill. Say, I like your houndstooth hat. Bama fan?
Well, sorta.
Oh, you're also wearing a War Eagle sweatshirt and a Troy jacket.
Yeah, well, I grabbed a hot wire last week. Kinda scrambled my brain.
Electricity is nothing to trifle with. That's why you only want electricians who are safety conscious and code compliant, like the experts at Crosby Electric.
Okay, ma'am, you take this 2x4, and if you notice I ain't saying much, give me a good knock on the head.
What?
All Crosby Electric team members are trained to make safety our #1 priority to avoid dangerous situations.
All ready to go, ma'am. Just have to connect this wire and... Oh!
Bill, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Good as new.
Yeah, sure. Who's your favorite team?
Pistachio?
Don't take chances with electricity. Call the experts at Crosby Electric or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. For work at your hunting camp or a job site, you need a utility vehicle you can depend on. The Kubota Sidekick from Capital Tractor, power to haul and top speeds of 40 miles per hour. Kubota and Capital Tractor in Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
Is your cell phone or iPad cracked, broken, or not working right? Don't let the big carrier stores sucker you into a new $1,100 device. Let XI Repair fix your device today. XI Repair fixes cell phones, computers, laptops, iPads, game consoles, drones, and more. Their certified technicians fix hundreds of devices every day. When your device needs care, call XI Repair, 334-777-1234, or Google XI Repair.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of two, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. Months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health.
Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and
wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. Did you know the current national average turn time to close on a mortgage is 48 business days? But not at Alabama Home Mortgage. At Alabama Home Mortgage, our average close time is 16 business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time, every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Now, there are many out there saying, but what about the plight of the poor Palestinians? And I'm like, well, the civilians there, yeah, it's a shame. This is war. It's a shame those are the people, Hamas, are the people leading them. And I don't need a lecture about the history of this conflict. I mean, again, you can look back years within Israeli politics itself, and there are a lot of arguments about this. They know this has been a big problem for a long time. The fact is, they lay down their arms, they get charged. More terrorist-like groups take over. So it's one thing to, my heart breaks for anybody caught up in the middle of all this crap. Who doesn't want to raise their hand against anybody else, who wants to just live their life. But it took, of all folks, this was on MSNBC this morning. This is amazing. This is Jonathan Greenblatt, I believe, of the Anti-Defamation League. And, him and Elon Musk have been at war and all this stuff lately. But this was Greenblatt on MSNBC this morning, essentially calling these folks out, saying, we can talk about the history of this conflict, but you're talking about rape. You're talking about cold-blooded murder. Let's listen in.
If you will, just what these last few days have been like for you and why it's so important that you are appearing here today with the Reverend Sharpton.
Well, so I will be honest and maybe a little more vulnerable than I normally would be. These have been some of the hardest days of my adult life. I don't ever remember a moment like this. I have family in Israel right now under siege and being deployed to the front lines. I have staff who can't locate their family. I have friends who are gone. And I think Ambassador Danone put it well in a context that Americans can understand. 9/11, the evil that was perpetrated here. But the scale, Jonathan, the right comparison is Nagasaki. This was like an atomic bomb. And as 40,000 people were killed in Japan when they dropped that bomb in Nagasaki, so too were the hundreds upon hundreds of people who were killed in Israel. And so while I am sad and trying to cope, I'll be honest, I am angry. I am angry with the world that allowed the dehumanization of Israelis and sanitized the terrorism of Hamas. I must say, I love this show and I love this network, but I've got to ask, who is writing the scripts? Hamas, the people who did this, they are not fighters, Jonathan. They are not militants, and I'm looking right at the camera. They are terrorists. It is a barbarian who rapes and brutalizes women, who kills children in front of their parents, and then brings them over to Gaza, who literally, we've heard all these reports, and we know these aren't just reports. These were filmed gleefully by the barbarians who committed these grotesque crimes. They filmed, for example, an elderly woman in her home in one of these towns. They burned her alive in her house because she was too infirm to take out. And, you know, parading women, bleeding from the crotch because they were raped throughout Gaza while people hoot and holler and cheer. So look, you know, when we say, oh, this was an escalation, it was bound to happen, I am sorry. This was a massacre that was pre-planned. This was not destined to happen. It is not normal to shoot teenagers in the back, hundreds of them. So I just think, like, guys, get the story right. And all these pictures of, like, you know, missiles or the rubble in Gaza, please talk to the Israeli mothers and fathers who lost their children. Talk to the grandchildren whose grandparents were seized as hostages. And please stop calling this a retaliation. This is a defensive measure against an organization that is committed to one thing: killing Jews. Not a peaceful resolution of a conflict, but murdering Jews. And if you're wondering if I'm exaggerating, please, I beg of you, everyone watching and everyone at this network, just watch the footage.
Again, that was Jonathan Greenblatt of the Anti-Defamation League talking tough to MSNBC. And now we're just getting reports that Hamas says they're going to execute a hostage live on TV for every airstrike. It's a shame we're here. 9 Americans dead, we know of?
9 so far.
Don't know how many are held hostage?
No.
Yeah. We'll hit our top of the hour break, and if you want to call in, comment 272-9228, but it just makes me sick. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The European Union says the bloc is immediately suspending hundreds of millions of euros in aid for Palestinian authorities because of what the EU commissioner called the scale of terror and brutality during the attack on Israel by Hamas. Germany and Austria also announcing similar measures. Mexico bracing for a 1-2 punch from tropical storms Lydia and Max, which are expected to make landfall Monday and Tuesday in different parts of the country. Max, strengthening to tropical storm status, is expected to hit land just east of the resort town of Zihuatanejo. Lydia, gaining strength farther north and could hit north of the resort of Puerto Vallarta. On Wall Street, the Dow is ahead 31 points, but the Nasdaq is down a dozen. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Beautiful fall weather continues today. Great weather for the fair. And on this Columbus Day, sunshine, comfortable, nice breeze. High temperature up to about 79. Tonight, mostly clear. Not quite as chilly tonight. Overnight low 53. A little warmer tomorrow with a high around 84. Once again, mostly sunny and dry. Risk of scattered showers Wednesday and Thursday. Upper 70s both days. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane, across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A convicted murderer has been arrested for first-degree rape. 35-year-old Tremaine Javon Patterson is charged with raping a woman July 30th at a Montgomery apartment complex. Patterson pled guilty to felony murder in 2014. It's unclear when and why Patterson was paroled. A medical cannabis producer filed legal action against the troubled Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission Friday. Alabama Always LLC is requesting a temporary restraining order intended to halt the commission's current licensing process. In college football news, Alabama remains number 11 after defeating Texas A&M on the road in a crucial SEC West matchup. Next up for Bama, they'll host Arkansas Saturday. Meanwhile, Auburn had the week off to get ready for a visit to LSU. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Enjoy an evening of wine on the water at the 13th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival, Friday, October 13th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Union Station Train Shed. This event includes a variety of wine tastings, food vendors, and live music by the Park Band and Funk Nation. Must be 21 or over to purchase a ticket. Tickets available online at mgmcityevents.com or montgomeryal.gov. Proceeds will go to Second Chance Foundation, sponsored by Publix, Vintage Year, and the City of Montgomery Department of Cultural Affairs.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader and Sky Mosley in the house.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, man.
I've been better. I wish I wasn't dealing with this cold, but I'll power through.
Come on, it's a man flu. You got this, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Do any
I got
Alka-Seltzer?
No,
Effervescence,
I'm all
man.
medicated up as much as I think I can be.
This is
so.
legal limit right now.
Yeah.
I see. How many fingers am I holding up?
None.
All right, good deal. You're all right.
Turn it up.
Oh, I got one finger. I got your finger right here. All
I'm
right,
going to, but we're on
right
camera.
here.
I wasn't going to.
They can't see it on camera, but you can see it right here.
I'm number one in your book.
Something like that. Let's go to Thunder. You know, sometimes you're too stupid to even insult.
That's bad. That's
so.
really bad. What can I say? When we look at the situation with Hamas and Israel and Hezbollah and Israel and Taliban and ISIS and all these other terrorist groups, and we think, well, how did they get this way? You know, they didn't come out of the womb being brutal. No, they got this way at very early ages when their parents took hostages and handed the hostages to the children to teach the children how to abuse the hostages. And this has been going on for decades. No, let me correct myself. This has been going on for centuries. And until people in this country stand up and recognize the hell that is outside of our borders and realize that now what was outside of our borders is now inside of our borders. It is now next door to us. It is now in the next town. It is now in the next city. And all you have to do is look at the millions of illegal invaders that are in this country and recognize the fact that over 80% of them were military age and military fit men. These were not women, you know, the vast majority of what walked into this country with Joe Biden's authority, walked into this country with Joe Biden's authority, with absolute no knowledge of where these people are. That's when everybody who voted for this administration and support this administration are guilty. They are just as guilty as that kid who picks up a stick and hits another stick just because they are of a different nationality or a different, quote, race. I blame this on them. I blame this on their parents because their parents didn't teach them any better than to be so damn stupid as to mark D for Democrat. Or in the times that Republicans have allowed this to happen, or for Republicans, they did not do their homework to see who was allowing whom into this country. The United States has been very fortunate. The United States has not had American blood bled on American soil since 1865 as a rule. Get ready for it, people. If you think that thunder is loud now, you wait until you hear it next door to you or in the streets in front of you. And if you don't think it can come to you, ask the people of Israel if they thought it would happen in a peaceful field just outside of their main city. Just ask them. This is not going to be pretty. Up until now, we've been very fortunate in this country. But now we have an administration that thinks that you've got to know your pronouns or you can't be a good soldier. Or you've got to know, you know, what sexuality you have before you can join the Navy. That's not what our armed forces were set up to be. Our armed forces could really care less of what pronoun you use or what sexuality you have. They want to know, can you pick up a rifle and use it appropriately? They want to know, do you have enough intelligence to sit down and look at this battle plan and look at this spread of information and tell me where the best place for my men are? That's why we've got a bunch of admirals and generals that aren't worth spit. It's because they don't know how to do that anymore. The upper level military right now, the vast majority of those that Tommy Tuberville has been fighting so diligently to keep from being promoted as a group, they're political appointees. They have nothing to do with protecting this country. If you want to protect this country, you better learn about this country. You better learn how to protect yourself. You better learn how to protect your neighbor. You better learn how to can something because you might need it. I cannot even fully convey to the people of Israel how so sorry I am today. How so sorry I am to have seen the videos of children being kidnapped and then taken to another country, and the video of them being separated and one child being handed to Palestinian children for those Palestinian children to abuse to death. You don't think it happens you better think again. I have friends who are from Palestine. I have friends who are from Jordan. I have friends who are from Israel. I have friends who are from Iran, from Iraq, from every single country in the Middle East. And I cannot blame them for this, other than to blame them for not standing up and putting a stop to a government that sanctions terror. Palestine sanctions terror. Iran sanctions terror. Jordan sanctions terror. Libya sanctions terror. Afghanistan sanctions terror. This is the world we live in today. This is the world we will live in tomorrow. But I'd like to know that this is not the world that my granddaughter will hand to her grandchild.
Well,
God, y'all keep up the good work. We need you more than ever. Thanks, Joey. Thanks, Eddie. And thanks, God.
Thanks, Thunder.
appreciate it, Thunder. 272-9228.
Emotions are running very high.
Indeed. And, you know, a lot of folks saying, hey, I'm recognizing some of those weapons these Hamas fighters have. Does that look like an M4?
From Afghanistan?
Yeah, right.
Oh, could be.
Interesting how American weapons keep making their
We
way.
left a lot behind.
Yeah, all around the world into the wrong hands. And then, of all folks, the guy who's running El Salvador, I'm sure y'all have seen this fellow. He rounded up all the gangs there. This is Nayib Bukele. He's the president of El Salvador. He wrote on Twitter, as a Salvadoran with Palestinian ancestry, I'm sure the best thing that could happen to the Palestinian people is for Hamas to completely disappear.
Here.
Those savage beasts do not represent the Palestinians. Anyone who supports the Palestinian cause would make a great mistake siding with those criminals. Well, they do keep getting reelected, kind sir. Anyone who supports the Palestinian cause would make a great mistake siding with these criminals. It would be like if Salvadorans would have sided with MS-13 terrorists just because we share ancestors or nationality. The best thing that happened to us as a nation was to get rid of those rapists and murderers and let the good people thrive. Palestinians should do the same. Get rid of those animals and let the good people thrive. It's the only way forward. Yeah, it should have been done decades ago.
Desert of idiocy.
Really should have been done decades ago.
You got to take care of your home first.
Well, it looks like, I don't think Israel is bluffing. I think they're about to take care of it right now.
They don't bluff in general. They can't afford to bluff.
Now, of course, though, I'm not sure if y'all saw Lindsey Graham had to stick his nose out and this might be, we gotta attack Iran. I'm like,
of course.
Is it Monday? Oh, it's Monday, and it's Lindsey Graham's time to say we need to bomb another country. Yeah. Now, when I was looking at the status quo of what's been going on there, I had hoped that finally with the Abraham Accords, you had a system where terrorists did not have a veto power over the future of the Middle East. There really was progress being made. But damn it, we're right back where we were. The Saudis today just pulled out of the negotiations they were doing.
Not everybody wants peace, man.
It's just easier to destroy than it is to build.
Sure is.
Very frustrating indeed. And 272-9228, you have a comment you want to get to. Apparently there are two church groups from Alabama stuck there right now. This is from 1819 News. The Palestinian militant group's attack included thousands of rockets fired in Israeli territory, killing at least 300 Israelis and wounding over 1,500 others. That number has now climbed higher and higher, folks.
It's going to continue to climb.
On Sunday, Reverend Thack Dyson of St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Daphne said on Facebook that he and other church members were in Israel trying to book flights out of the country. We're here in the middle of a war. That's not what we planned, but this is what we got, Dyson said. It's been a good trip, notwithstanding the little hiccup down in Gaza yesterday. Yeah, I don't know
about choice of words there, but
and apparently they're safe and they're going to get out. But, man. And it is amazing how the whole world's watching this, too. I thought we were on the cusp of something better, but
no,
I guess not.
Evil's still there.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And they're at River Region Contracting. Well, they're the premier roofing contractor here in the River Region. Simple enough. So whether you have an asphalt or a metal roof, it should be inspected every 3 to 5 years for basic preventative maintenance. Now, it doesn't have to be just every 3 to 5 years. It could be you got an inspection done like last year and your roof was fine.
Right.
Then all these storms that rolled through this year, those bumps in the middle of the night, you're a little worried that something's going on. I don't want to climb up there. You're not going to climb up in the attic or on top of the roof.
Who wants to do that?
So why not just call up River Region Contracting, 356-8635, and here's the good news. You're not on the hook. Their inspections are free. All their inspections and their estimates, always free.
And on their inspections, not only the guy, like when they inspected my latest place here, they didn't just say, hey, your roof is okay, but here's some other issues. They took photos. So I didn't just have to take the guy's word. I could look at exactly what he saw, and we were able to talk through it together. Again, a lot of places will just give you an estimate, no pictures, no nothing, and walk away. These guys don't do it, man.
And they're also a team of insurance specialists there at River Region Contracting. So if they do find a problem with your roof, your insurance company might cover. They can walk you through that claims process and make it an easy and swift experience. So again, that number for River Region Contracting, the premier roofing contractor here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell Todd Clark and the team there that Joey and Eddie and Sky from News and Views in the afternoon, News and Views on the radio, send you more news and views. Well, after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Next contestant.
Honey, you look confused. What's wrong?
I'm having a hard time remembering to take my medications like I'm supposed to. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to worry you.
I'm glad you told me, because I heard that Adams Drugs has a medicine on time service that will package your monthly medications and make them easier to manage. Our neighbors, Bill and Leslie, mentioned the other day that they use Adams and how they have made it so easy for them to manage their medications.
Do you think we can call Adams Drugs? Or go by there and see if they can help me? I don't want to get to the point where you have to put me into an assisted living home.
Why don't you get your medications together right now, and let's go down to Adams and talk to the pharmacist.
How much does the medicine on time service cost?
I asked Bill that same question, and he told me it's a free service for Adams customers.
Free? Wow, I'm feeling really good about this already. Let me grab my meds list.
Call Adams Drugs Medicine on Time for your pharmacist consultation. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for more information on our Medicine on Time packaging service.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster.
Hey man, what's happening?
Now, I understand you radio people move a lot, is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money?
Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man.
Your money man?
With the money plan.
I see.
So no matter where I go up and down the dial, David has my back, you know?
I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with David Ernest.
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
And he has a website at retirewithernest.com.
Hey, you're on top of it today, man.
I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting.
Yes. I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air.
Why were you taken off the air?
Too much foul language, man.
Oh my.
So I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader's still in the studio with me. How you doing, Eddie? Good to hear. And on today of all days, you would expect a president, to be working the phones, to be really on top of the situation here, and also communicating with the American people. You heard the call there from Thunder. I don't think she just speaks for herself. I think there are a lot of folks quite apprehensive, to put it mildly.
Oh, yeah.
After seeing this. And yet, what has President Biden done today? Oh, well, he's already called a lid. You know what that means?
Yeah.
Like, no more press. No, I'm not going to. No, I need to take a nap.
It's usually me about midnight on Saturday night.
Right.
Got to call a lid on this, guys.
Right, but he's called a lid. He called a lid before noon.
Well, it's Biden, Joey.
So we'll just have everybody else. Now, Bibi Netanyahu is set to speak and give an update here in a second, but responding to the Biden administration, Netanyahu said, we have to go into Gaza.
Right.
We're not going to negotiate with
There's
terrorists.
nothing to negotiate. Right.
He reportedly told President Biden that a ground operation in the Gaza Strip is necessary after Hamas launched deadly strikes on his country. The remark made in a phone call between the two leaders came as Biden raised concerns about Israeli hostages in the Gaza Strip if a ground operation should commence. 3 Israeli and U.S. sources briefed on the phone call told Axios. We have to go in. We can't negotiate now, Netanyahu told Biden. He told Biden that Israel has no choice but to respond with force since a country cannot display weakness in the volatile Middle East. Yeah, that's
what
right.
Biden don't understand. He's talking to someone that is a real leader, and he's not afraid to lead. He's not afraid to worry about which way public opinion is swaying. And he's not going to go to bed at 9 o'clock in the morning either.
And as we mentioned earlier, it's being reported on Fox now, Hamas now threatening to start executing hostages live.
Show the world what monsters you are.
Go ahead.
How much does that help your cause? You're already 1,000% in the wrong. You're fixing to be nuked back into the ice age. You morons.
And apparently the hostages include Americans.
That's what I'm worried about.
Goodness gracious. Wish I was feeling better today, folks, because right now I'm powering through, but this news is just making me feel even more sick. Hate to watch this. Hate to see this. Again, 272-9228. Who do we got here?
We got Jim.
Hey, Jim. How you doing?
Good afternoon. Yeah, I guess old Joe's already gone to the nap room. Is that what you said?
Apparently so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the man's... Does he even know what happened? He might not even know, And I guess since it's a holiday today, maybe he took the day off. I don't...
Well, is that why the roads are so empty when I drove in? It's Columbus Day.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Indigenous Natives Day or whatever that is. So I guess there won't be any White House press conference today either, right?
Not unless there's one this morning.
Well, Mean Corinne Jean, well, they won't let her. It'll be that Admiral Kirby guy.
Oh, yeah, that too will be.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love, this is something I'd like to see, but it'll never happen. And people that used to watch Saturday Night Live with Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin will know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And I'd like to see Peter Doocy ask her a question about the $6 billion that we're getting ready to unload on Iran. And if she gives some half you-know-what answer, he should say, Corinne, you ignorant slut.
Yep. That was it.
I would just wish, of course, that'd be the last time he ever had that job, but there's no way they're going to spin this thing, saying, well, they haven't gotten the money. Yes, if you know you've got $6 billion
Right.
coming, I mean, come on.
That's how dumb they think we are, Jim. That's how dumb they think we are.
I mean, you're speaking to a country where people start spending their tax return before they even get it. So come
Exactly.
on.
Exactly.
I mean, I know one thing. Israel don't play. And Hamas is bitten off more than they can chew, because I guarantee you they will be annihilated
Exactly.
by the time this thing's over. And another thing for you people out there that never took geography or history or anything, there's no such thing as Palestine. That is a made-up country name. There's no Palestine. There never was Palestine. You're not a Palestinian. Look it up. There's no such thing. That's just a made-up scenario there. You know, but it's just unbelievable.
And I guess the name goes all the way back to the Roman Empire. I think that area was called something like that. Then it was British Palestine after World War I. And, you know, if you go back to, say, the 1870s, when Zionism gets going in Europe, you're talking about a lot of Arab population there in this part of the world, but there were something like 20, 30,000 Jewish folks as well. Yeah. And that number grew as more and more folks immigrated, especially sped up, you know, not shockingly, after World War II. And right after the Holocaust, more folks trying to go there. And, you're right. This idea that
but it was made up. There's not really. You go back. There was never a country called Palestine. It was, you know.
It was under the Ottomans, the Turkish Empire. And then, you know, Israel's trying to play nice and, we're going to invade you, and Israel wins. And they give up territory. And we'll invade you again, and Israel wins. And they still play nice.
Yeah. Anybody that can add 2 and 2 knows what instigated this thing. And it was the $6 billion payoff.
Yep.
And Biden could go hide, but I know they're dread coming out and let him even talk about it. I mean, it's just, it's disgusting.
Right. Yeah, and what I was saying, Jim, is I just don't need a lecture on the history of this conflict. Yes, there has been an awful card dealt to a lot of Palestinians over the years. It doesn't justify having a terrorist group continue to perpetuate this. There are Israelis. Early on, it said we're going to become a security state if we don't do this the right way, and that's kind of what's happened. But it's still no excuse to have a terrorist veto what was a pretty daggum good peace process. So we're about to find out what Netanyahu and the Israeli Defense Forces, what they're about to do.
No, they'll get to it. They, like I said, they don't play around, and I'm with you. I'm a little surprised that this was pulled off and they didn't have any inkling that it was going to happen. But Hamas is just, you know, they infiltrate these neighborhoods. They don't have it, you know, that way they think, well, you know, if we're here and if you try to kill us, you're going to kill all these innocent people. But here's what the Israelis are going to do. They're going to say, okay, everybody, you've got 2 days to clear out, and then we're going to install a new parking lot for our country in this area. And that's what's going to happen. So
I just know there are a lot of genuinely innocent people who have died and are going to continue to die because of this crap. It's awful.
Yeah, and there's Americans that have already been killed, and I think there's some church groups over there too. From golly, can you imagine going on a trip from America with a church group and caught in that, man? But this will give something for the mainstream media that can handle, and Joe can go hide now for a little bit and won't have to have all this stuff on the spotlight on him. But we'll see what the U.S. is going to do. They're kind of in a tight spot right now.
And the White House is still silent after confirmed 9 Americans dead.
Yeah, that thing you played back of the I forget the man's name, the defense guy.
Or Secretary of State Blinken?
No, the other guy, the one that came out and says all is well. You know, everything's
Yeah, that was, I can't think of his name, but yeah, he said all was well. But I did say it could happen at any time.
Oh, Jake
Yeah,
Sullivan,
well,
the National Security
Jake
Advisor.
Hunter, oh, he acted like, oh, I like it. Let's get him back on the TV again and explain this. No, you're not going to see that or anything like that. So.
Well, and then right on top of, we just found an Iranian spy on Biden's negotiating team.
Right. Surprise?
What the hell is y'all's problem?
They're too busy watching you and me. That's their problem.
Yeah.
That's their
I
problem.
wonder how many Hamas people have come over the border. You just makes you wonder.
Indeed it does. Well, I appreciate the call, Jim.
All right, y'all have a good.
You too, Jim. Thanks, bud.
272-9228. And of course, folks, because of this, I mean, this is pretty much eating up all the news cycle.
Yeah.
You're not seeing much else. It's a shame in the sense that there was some good, interesting developments. Did you see, happen to see Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth's interview with Brian Dawson?
I did not see that.
It's good. And in one part, he says, we will not bring back lockdowns. We will not bring back masks.
Good.
Like, he seems to be the heir apparent, Governor Ainsworth.
Yeah, no doubt.
Excuse me, Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth. And to hear that from that guy, I think is a sound thing. Now, we can't always be fighting the last war. It might be some other new emergency, but I think Will Ainsworth understands
I think he gets
that
where
quite
people
well.
are coming from when it comes to that kind of silliness.
Yeah. And, of course, we've still got, and I'm sure more names will be thrown into the hat now that we have the congressional lines handed down by the federal courts. We had Jarek Wilkins last week on Friday.
How long do you think until we hear from Reed?
I don't know. The rumor is Mayor Stephen Reed is going to run for Congress, but
No doubt. So how long do we?
I don't know.
That's obvious to me.
I don't know. I'm not constantly spying on him or anything.
I figure you were. Thought you were tighter.
Well, he is releasing a new book about
Oh.
leadership, so maybe there is a run in the future.
Well, usually when they write a book, it's yeah.
See that Senator Brett also has a book coming out.
Nice.
Better Time in the Wiregrass.
Is there only? Wait a minute. Is this our first book?
Yeah,
Usually they
I think
write
it's like a
book, then they go.
memoir with lessons.
Oh. Okay, good for her.
Wonder if she wrote it or if it's ghostwritten.
$20 on the ghost.
And it is a lot of work to write a book.
Mhm.
Not that she couldn't do it, but
Who's got time?
right. I don't have time.
No.
Actually I do, but I just kind of want to watch TV.
Who prioritizes their time like that, Joey? Certainly not me.
Oh, goodness gracious. And back to the top story in 1819 News is Birmingham Mayor Woodfin deletes his stand with Israel tweet.
Man.
And it's pretty straightforward, stand with Israel, and there's the Israeli flag.
That's
And then all of a
No
sudden he
explanation as to why, maybe?
deleted it. It's Woodfin's followers apparently did not take kindly to a show of support. Should I read some of these
I wish
Twitter
you
handles? The Twitter follower of Woodfin Yo Mama's on Crack Rock, he said, "That's a no for me, big dog. Should be a no for you too." Lexi says no. Henry says it's time for them to eradicate the Palestine and PLO. Well, it sounds like he's in the favor of standing with Israel. No, says Charlie for change. Others saying boo. So why did you delete it? Admit you made a mistake? Didn't want more calls to correct you? Why would you say that? What is your stance on Palestine? This is the equivalent of being a neo-Confederate, but I guess you need AIPAC money. Whew. They about to get you, says Tyler.
They about to get you.
Another guy just doing the emoji. Yeah, so I guess that was enough.
Well, is it still, and I guess I'm a little out of touch, I'm a little older, but is it still the popular myth among the black community that Jews are the evil?
I don't know about that.
NWA. Remember the movie? With movie
Yeah,
agent?
so
that's what I'm asking.
Straight Outta Compton. I remember that movie.
So
yeah.
I'm asking, is that a normal
Is there
belief?
still anti-Semitism in the black community? I suspect there's a little bit of it, yes.
Okay, when you ask it like that, who knows what the heck you're talking about?
I suspect there's a good bit of anti-Semitism all over the place. Just look at Twitter.
Not in my house. We love the Jews.
Yeah, you just went to...
yeah, a bat mitzvah.
Oh, and that's for the girl. It's not a...
Right, it's
yeah,
the girl
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
Who knew? Now I do.
No, and actually, in December 2022, Woodfin put out a powerful picture display. And He said, the most powerful moment of my life in 2022 was a trip to Israel that became an unintentional spiritual journey. It culminated with the baptism in the Sea of Galilee.
Sound like he had a good time.
And yet now he's backing down. I don't know.
You think he got a call from one of his overlords?
I don't know, man. That's just... Like, if you're going to put something out there like that, you keep it up. Don't post
Unless
it in
you
the
don't
first
have a
place.
spine.
Don't post it in the first place if you don't have the backbone to back up. your
Especially
position.
that. You've really got to fight that? I stand with Israel, you got to fight that stance?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting how the reaction is bringing out what, people's priors, like any of these big events, it brings up folks' priors. I am not the one who goes as far as say Nikki Haley, like this was an attack on America. No, it wasn't. It was an attack on Israel. And I think the Israelis are going to handle it pretty quick. Or
Sure,
Lindsey
but they
Graham
need a
saying
hand.
we need to go take out Iran. Let's take out all their oil refineries.
We need to
Like, calm down, Lindsey.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not going that far. This is not a justification for war all over the world by any means. But it is a very clear-eyed reminder that you can't negotiate with people that want to end you.
Right.
How about this? Let's hit a break.
All right.
272-9228. Papa B, hold on. We'll come to you after this break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and her team, which includes the lovely and talented Madeline Cannon.
Madeline. She's so lovely.
They can help you.
So talented.
Whether you're looking to buy a home.
Yes.
Could be your first-time home buyer, or maybe it's not your first rodeo. Maybe you've done this before, but you want to work with people you actually can get to know.
It's a good idea.
People you can trust. Folks that have earned their reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's Alabama Home Mortgage, and whether it's from pre-approval all the way to closing day, they can walk with you every step of the way.
Every step of the way.
When it comes to the home buying process. Of course, all the rage these days are the refinance deals they can offer you.
Yeah.
A lot of folks sitting on mountains of credit card debt.
And it's only going to get worse from here.
Oh, in a second, we've got a Peter St. Onge economic update. He's breaking down all these numbers that came out, the jobs numbers. Oh, the wider economy doesn't look great. But here's the deal, folks. You don't have to react to national headlines. You need to think about your own economy, your own hearth and home, so to speak. And at Alabama Home Mortgage, they can steer you in the right direction, whether it is that refinance deal or you're looking to buy. So check them out today. You can always call Kim and Madeline at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. You can also visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. More news and views in the afternoon with Papa B and others at 272-9228 after this break.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
During Prattville Carpet's fall sale, you can get Mohawk waterproof flooring, regularly priced at $11 per foot installed, right now priced at $7 per foot installed. That's huge fall savings. And get interest-free financing for up to 12 months with approved credit. Call 285-8117 or visit PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the River region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas weather.
Hi, everybody. Beautiful weather continues today. Great weather for the fair. And on this Columbus Day, sunshine, comfortable, nice breeze. High temperature up to about 79. Tonight, mostly clear. Not quite as chilly tonight. Overnight low 53. A little warmer tomorrow with a high around 84. Once again, mostly sunny and dry. Risk of scattered showers Wednesday and Thursday. Upper 70s both days. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Looking for a tractor, excavator, mower, ag implements, or other equipment? Capital Tractor is as close as your smartphone or computer. Find the best deals, financing information, and browse new and used inventory with just a click at CapitalTractor.com.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Now, this is from the desk of Colonel Douglas McGregor. He put out a tweet not that long ago, said, the Israeli losses are predicted to exceed 1,000 dead. It is inconceivable that the IDF had no ready forces positioned in the south or the north to deal with potential violence on the anniversary of 1973. At the same time, the Arabs did what they never do. They shut up. In this sense, it's reminiscent of two conditions. First, Custer and his column were annihilated because the hostile tribes did something they had never done. They united and stood their ground. Normally, they were divided and fled as soon as Army regulars showed up. He rushed in thinking that if he did not, the hostiles would flee. It's also reminiscent of the Bulge. We talked ourselves into a state of wishful thinking, and the Germans surprised us. For Israel, however, this is deadly serious. If Hezbollah sits this out, the IDF will systematically crush Gaza. However, serious attacks from southern Lebanon will stretch the IDF ground force to the limit. It may be that anger and disgust across the Muslim world with the destruction of Gaza and its people eventually provokes a larger war that could involve Iran, even Turkey. Egypt will be unable to sit it out. Jordan may fall apart under the pressure of eternal unrest. In short, the world could change dramatically. 272-9228. Let's go to Papa B. Hey, Papa B.
All right. I don't believe I've seen a bluer sky. It's just great out here.
It does feel amazing outside today here in Montgomery.
Oh, yeah. Especially after that hot summer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, please, somebody tell Lindsay to keep his yoga pants, his camo yoga pants in the drawer. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to hear war talk from him.
Exactly.
Right now.
But I just got these TikTok ones, the viral ones that make your butt look good.
Go sit down, old man. Go
Shut up, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Unless you personally want to go fight, go sit down, old man.
He got the butt enhancing camo yoga pants.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how they're gonna deflect from all of what's going on here. Are we gonna get more alien cake stories or?
The speaker race between Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise. Yeah, nobody cares anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It should be Jim
they're trying
Jordan, but hey, Scalise can raise that
I don't
money.
know. I heard somebody might come back.
Kevin McCarthy's coming back.
That's where I read that
He's
this week.
making a bid to
What is
come
that?
back.
What is that?
Yeah, he's making a bid to. Well, I mean, anyway, yeah. Well, that's not. I don't see how that's deflecting from the awful news. This is, this is what happens when you have a weak leader,
Mm-hmm.
in the United States versus a strong leader that we had under Trump. Wouldn't it be interesting if some of the arms that Hamas You really think that's not going to fund all kind of mischief?
Exactly.
You know it is. Of course it is. And then we got this Muslim Brotherhood spy or whatever he is. He's got that president's ear and his own whatever kind of team. I don't think he's acting on the behalf of the American people.
I would think not.
It just all adds up to just sorry, no account. And, not to mention the fact that there are just a whole lot of Democrats that, let's just face it, they're just flat out anti-Semitic. Now, some of them will come out and actually say so.
Right.
Others, well, they are, but they're not necessarily going to say so.
No, you just have to watch their actions.
That's right. The actions speak louder than words. So, I don't know. I expect more alien cake stories to try to cover, the bad news. The best cover that I ever saw was that time. You remember when they were doing all that series and news about mermen and merwomen and how there was a whole new evolutionary theory. I mean, some people really got into it and were mad. They got mad and depressed when it turned out to be just a hoax. Anyway, let's see what they come up with next to, kind of draw the attention elsewhere. But I expect it. So, all right, guys. Thanks a lot for letting me call in.
Appreciate it, Bobby. 272-9228. Of course, 31 Harvard organizations blame Israel.
Of course they do.
Israel has now called up over 300,000 reservists to war duty. As we said from that Doug McGregor missive we just read, they could get stretched thin, and that might actually be the plan. There would be strikes coming from not just southern Lebanon, but watch out for stuff being flung over Jordan from Iraq. Sure. And isn't that, again, the kicker? That all of a sudden, Iraq, we go and run it for a while, invade it, and now it's a vassal of the Shia mullahs there in Iran. Wow.
We paved the road for them, buddy.
Genius level stuff. But there's more to get to, more analysis. Victor Davis Hanson has some pretty daggum good analysis of what's going on in all of this, as does Kash Patel. I'm just starting his book.
Oh, yeah?
And Cash's breakdown of this, I think, is quite good as well. But here, we got to hit a break, and hopefully when we come back, we'll have Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Y'all stay tuned.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Do you have a cell phone or tablet that isn't charging, dying fast, or maybe the screen is damaged? Don't get suckered into buying a new one. XI Repair can fix your current device same day and in under 30 minutes. Their certified technicians fix and recover data from thousands of cell phones, computers, tablets, game consoles, and drones 7 days a week.
Give them a call today at 334-777-1234 or visit them online at xirepair.com. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to Do Some Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are y'all?
Pretty good, bud.
I'm all right, all things considered in the news. And, well, what do we got going on at Cohen's today?
Then they need to replace it. Not the customer being old, the unit being old.
Gotcha.
And anyway, I've just seen a ton of people come in here for washers and dryers. So whether it's a Maytag, whether it was an LG, or the Speed Queen, there's going to be some happy customers in the next day or so when we get those delivered.
So they're like all different styles you have there, like washer and dryer units that stand alone, but also you have those like combo stack pieces?
Stackers, yeah.
That's right. We've got some cool units made by LG that is actually a one-piece unit, but it's actually a full-size washer and dryer.
Oh, wow.
So if you have limited space, this does a great job. Speed Queen makes a front load that you can actually stack it, and then we have other front load units that you can stack as well. And then a lot of people are still buying the old type, which was what we call a top load washing machine. So, everybody's got a different idea of what they want, and
this is true.
We try to ask them some questions, and we try to guide them to make the decision that's right for their home.
So, folks, whether it's the great products, the appliances and electronics there, you're also being backed up by that incredible experience and service. They deliver confidence there at Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. You can always go to thinkcohens.com or give them a call at 277-8890. And you're still there on the Eastern Boulevard, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery?
We still are here, 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturday. And, just come by, and it's a very low-key sales experience as far as pressure. But we just want to help you make the right decision.
Well, I appreciate your time as always and your sponsorship. And folks, get by there. Be sure to tell them that you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon.
That's right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Michael. 272-9228. Apparently, Netanyahu is saying the airstrikes are just beginning. Our enemies understand significance of having U.S. aircraft carrier en route. Yeah, this is it's coming. It's coming all right. 272-9228. I'm trying to look at all this live breaking news. IDF chief, it started badly for them. It will end badly for them.
Do you see any other way besides Israel coming out on top? I mean, it's
no, unless
like me picking a fight with Mike Tyson.
No, unless you see what McGregor was throwing out there. You start to see Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. You start to see attacks from other areas. That could be a problem. That's how also the United States gets dragged into this. Because I don't think that aircraft carrier is going to sit by while Iranian or even assets in Iraq are being used.
Well, right now they're holding American hostages. That's
right.
That place is not going to sit idle while they're holding American hostages. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, the IDF chief of staff said after a rough start, we are shaping the line of engagement. We hit a lot of terrorists. Whoever gets close, they are killed. We will finish purging the area so that we do not have terrorists here. And at the same time, we are already on the offensive. We have many more tasks. We need to be strong. It started badly and will end very badly on the other side. Well, it's at our top of the hour break, folks. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation.
Joey Clark.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The armed wing of the Palestinian militant group Hamas warning that it will kill an Israeli hostage every time Israel's military bombs civilian targets in the Gaza Strip without warning. The threat was a response to intense airstrikes by Israel. Civilians on both sides suffering a terrible toll, around 700 people, including 73 soldiers who have been killed in Israel. 493 people have been killed in Gaza. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says he'll run for president as an independent and drop his Democratic primary bid. Kennedy announced his move in Philadelphia. Kennedy running a long-shot bid and has better favorability ratings among Republicans than Democrats. On Wall Street, the Dow had 195 points and the Nasdaq adding 64 points. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. Beautiful fall weather continues today. Great weather for the fair. And on this Columbus Day, sunshine, comfortable, nice breeze. High temperature up to about 79. Tonight, mostly clear. Not quite as chilly tonight. Overnight low 53. A little warmer tomorrow with a high around 84. Once again, mostly sunny and dry. Risk of scattered showers Wednesday and Thursday. Upper 70s both days. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
1819 News.
I'm Russ Jones, filling in for Andrea Tice. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed mighty vengeance against Hamas after the Palestinian militant group launched a surprise attack, including thousands of rockets fired into Israeli territory, killing at least 700 Israelis and wounding nearly 1,000 others. Netanyahu has declared war on the terrorists, vowing they will pay a price it has never known before. Republicans, including some Alabama Republicans, blame the Biden administration's decision to release $6 billion in frozen Iran funds ahead of the Hamas attack on Israel. More Alabama news to come after this.
Brian Dawson here, CEO of 1819 News. I'm also the host of 1819 News, the podcast, and we'd love for you to join us by listening to our weekly show on all the top podcast apps, both in audio and video format. At 1819 News, the podcast, we are in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. Every week, we're having important conversations with guests from across this great state, all with the goal of equipping Alabamians to be in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama with us. New episodes are released weekly. I hope you'll join us.
Auburn men's basketball coach Bruce Pearl chimed in on the Israeli attack, accusing President Biden of funding adversaries of Israel to the detriment of Israeli residents. Israeli officials said it was the deadliest attack on their own soil in years. 14 members of the East Bruton's W.S. Neal High School football team chose to be baptized this week. Head coach Hugh Fountain and others had been participating in a Bible study with some of the players, which resulted in 14 players dedicating their lives to God. I'm Russ Jones.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Enjoy an evening of wine on the water at the 13th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival, Friday, October 13th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Union Station Train Shed. This event includes a variety of wine tastings, food vendors, and live music by the Park Band and Funk Nation. Must be 21 or over to purchase a ticket. Tickets available online at mgmcityevents.com or MontgomeryAL.gov. Proceeds will go to Second Chance Foundation, sponsored by Publix, Vintage Year, and the City of Montgomery Department of Cultural Affairs.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Rough news day. It's one thing to report it. I can't imagine living it. But here, let's go right to the phones. 272-9228, as you heard, and talk to Lee. Appreciate the call, Lee, and your patience. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm great. Did you see what's going on in Chicago?
In Chicago?
Yeah. There's about 25,000 people marching in the street to support the Hamas.
Wow. Yep.
I mean, thousands upon thousands, as far as you can see. They didn't give a number. It is scary. And they're all dressed in the Hamas colors and stuff. Somebody put on Twitter, if you don't think this can happen here, you need to think again. And there are protests all over the country, but that's one that I saw. If you go on Twitter, and take a look at that. But that's really all that I wanted. Okay, I've only got a couple of minutes, and so anyway, hope you get to feeling better.
Yeah, me too. It's just, and it's awful just hearing that. I saw some of the stuff in New York, and I didn't know it was that many people in Chicago. Wow.
Yeah, it was astonishing. Okay, man, you take care. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, Lee.
272-9228. Yeah, who knew solidarity for the Palestinian people meant supporting what we just saw yesterday?
Well, if you got an open border and the average person coming across is male, and he's in ages 18 to, say, 26.
Yeah.
And he's not from Guadalajara, not from Tijuana. Yeah. Not hard to figure out how. I'm just waiting for the day we finally get to hold the jackasses in leadership accountable.
Right.
That's the day I wait for.
Now, I mentioned that Victor Davis Hanson, who I often turn to for some insight, I believe he put this out last night or yesterday after all this broke. This is directly to X or Twitter. Victor Davis Hanson writes, a 50th anniversary war? Why did Hamas stage a long-planned, carefully executed, and multifaceted attack on Israeli towns, soldiers, and civilians, one designed to instill fear by executing non-combatants, taking hostages, and desecrating the bodies of the dead. And how were the killers able to enter Israel proper, in enough numbers to kill what could be hundreds and perhaps eventually wound what could be thousands? And it looks like actually it's thousands dead.
Yeah.
A, ostensibly, radical Palestinians wanted to stop any rumored rapprochement between the Gulf monarchies, the traditional source of much of their cash, and Israel by forcing the issue of Arab solidarity in times of war, especially through waging a gruesome attack aimed at civilians and encompassing executions and hostage-taking. Iran likely was the driving force to prompt the war, given its greatest fear as a Sunni Arab-Israeli rapprochement. Right. Or B, Arab forces have had only success against Israel through surprise attacks during Israeli holidays, as in the Yom Kippur War. That is, was it any accident that the present attack began 50 years almost to the day after the October 6, 1973, beginning of the Yom Kippur War? And so they struck again this Saturday, coming at the end of a week-long Jewish celebration, in hopes that others will join in, as happened in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
So much for the Arab warnings not for Westerners to conduct war during Ramadan. Or C, Hamas may have reckoned that recent Israeli turmoil and mass leftist street protests over proposed reforms of the Israeli Supreme Court had led to permanent internal divisions and thus a climate of domestic distraction, if not an erosion of deterrence. But more importantly, in a larger sense, the Biden administration has contributed both to the notion that Hamas was a legitimate Middle East player and to the perception that the U.S. was backing away from its traditional support of Israel, to the delight of Hamas, based on the following inexplicable policies. 1. In February, Secretary of State Tony Blinken had bragged that not only had the Biden administration resumed massive aid to the PLA canceled by Trump, but cumulatively have transferred $1 billion, even as Palestinian authorities bragged that they would continue to pay bounties to the families of quote-unquote martyrs, that is, those killed while conducting terrorist attacks against Israel. And millions of American dollars also went into Gaza, run by Hamas, despite the Biden administration's efforts to keep mostly quiet the resumption of such inexplicable support. In this regard, note the current shameful State Department website news release that was posted after today's attack. It ended with this quite embarrassing, morally equivalent admonition, quote, "We urge all sides to refrain from violence and retaliatory attacks. Terror and violence solve nothing. All sides refrain from retaliatory attacks." So Israel is the moral equivalent of terrorists executing civilians and brutalizing their corpses. And the IDF then is not supposed to retaliate against these killers? This Biden State Department's insanity cannot stand. So expect some apparatchik to take down this Munich-like posting as soon as possible. Or number 2, look at this policy of the Biden administration. The Biden administration had recently released some $6 billion to Iran through a prison swap deal that saw South Korea hand over embargoed Iranian money to Qatar. Despite Tehran's increased anti-Israeli rhetoric and its loud brag about the escalation, we should assume money for rockets. Hamas claims they have launched 5,000 and have received 100,000 of them via the Damascus airport. And weapons in general for Hamas were supplied by Iran, which again is likely the chief catalyst for the surprise attack. Number 3, almost immediately after his inauguration, Biden mobilized to resume the bankrupt Iran deal. And in unhinged fashion, he appointed the anti-Israeli bigot, pro-Iranian journalist Robert Malley as America's chief negotiator. Note that Malley is now under FBI investigation for security breaches involving disclosing classified U.S. documents and also allegedly helping pro-Iranian activists and propagandists land influential billets out inside the United States government. In short, there was a general Hamas and Iranian perception that the Biden administration had resumed the discredited Obama madness of empowering Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas. This discredited agenda was to balance the power of Israel and the moderate Arab Gulf governments to achieve creative tension, exacerbated by Biden's loathing of the government of Bibi Netanyahu, who has been snubbed by Biden and never invited for an official visit. Note as well that the Biden administration has siphoned off key weapons and munitions from stockpiles inside Israel to transfer them to Ukraine. the so-called war reserve ammunition, Israel is all but depleted of just the sort of weapons needed in the present crisis.
Be a good idea to attack them then, wouldn't it?
In this regard, is there not a pattern here? Upon the ascension of Biden and his woke military agendas, we saw the following. The complete humiliation of the U.S. in Kabul, in its most shameful flight in 50 years and greatest abandonment of equipment in its history, followed by Vladimir Putin's opportunistic invasion of Ukraine, followed by China's new belligerence and escalating threats to Taiwan, followed by Turkey's new de facto alliance with Russia and recent drone encounter with the U.S. Air Force in Syria, followed by Hamas Iranian-inspired attacks on Israel, with more to come, unfortunately. And will Biden finally get the message from the attacks on Ukraine and Israeli borders that borders matter and we too are being invaded with the encouragement of the Mexican government and to the advantage of the cartels whose fentanyl exports kill 100,000 Americans a year? What to expect in Israel? Expect the following. The usual Hamas terrorists selling and or execution of Israeli hostages, the use of Israeli hostages as human shields in Gaza, the bargaining sale of the remains of Israeli dead, occasional killings of Jews inside Israel by Arabs who falsely believe they will be winning Middle East-wide existential war against Israel. And finally, a devastating Israeli counter-response that will eventually earn a U.S. rebuke, probably from the Biden folks.
Sure.
What should the U.S. do instead? It should quit talking to Iran and restore full sanctions against it.
100%.
It should cut off aid immediately to all the Palestinians.
100%.
It should undertake a 1973-like massive arms lift of key munitions to Israel and warn Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, and others in the Middle East not to intervene or else, given that Israel will need several weeks to deal with Hamas in Gaza. And if it shows any hesitation or weakness, other terrorist groups will opportunistically jump in. Deterrence is a real thing, folks. It's where I think I disagree with a lot of my libertarian friends. You can't just look at war through a moral lens.
Nope.
From a moral lens, what is war? It's mass murder. It's insanity. Ask the people who have been in the middle of it if they actually want to do that again. It's a reason when you talk to the veterans of things like Vietnam or World War II or Korea, a lot of them don't like talking about it. But even though it's insanity, it does come. We haven't figured it out yet. Look at the long tail of human history. War does always come because one person thinks they've got the leg up on the other and they can get away with it. And it's often when people miscalculate one another's strength that you get this outbreak of war. Part of me just shakes my head wondering, are the people running things in this country that stupid?
Yes, they are, Joey. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You proved to me otherwise. Until then, yes, they are. Tell me again, one decision since Joe Biden has been elected, not just president, but since he's been in politics, period, that he has ever gotten right. We established before the election he makes a wrong decision on every single thing. Yet we still voted this moron in. He's still here today. Our borders are open. We're being invaded. To the point now that he's finally, somebody's kind of woke his old ass up and said, hey, we might have to do something about this.
Yeah, like Democratic mayors and
selling
governors.
us out.
Yeah.
They're selling us out, and we're just sitting here taking it. It's hard to be one that just sits there and watches.
Yeah, it is. It's one thing to have a caring, bleeding heart. It's another thing for that to let your brain slip out of your skull.
Well, times like this reminds me of why I clamped that artery off a long time ago. I got nothing for people like that. Never have, never will.
Well, and my thought before all this broke out this weekend, when I looked at the situation in Israel, I thought, I don't know how this status quo works in the long run. I had hoped that the Abraham Accords could do the end run around this. You just stop talking about the Israel-Palestinian issue. You start talking about the wider region. And it looked like that was bearing some fruit. But you've got millions of people run by a terrorist organization right there in Gaza. How did you think it was going to end?
And in the end, you're right. Israel will come back tenfold and destroy that place. And you're right. Our administration will give them a rebuke.
And really, maybe it's because we consume so much of the news, but this whole back and forth of like, well, here's this video of this and this video of that, of this rubble and this airstrike. And it's like, it's not making sense of anything. Because often, and thank God that you got community notes now on Twitter, a lot of the videos people are putting out there, they're old.
Yeah.
Like this one Hamas guy saying, thank you to Iran it's like there was a video from 2014.
There was one I saw today on Twitter that said, it said all air traffic in Israel is basically being grounded except for one, and you see the Trump plane fly, or kind of go across the runway. That's from 8 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not even there. It's at LAX.
Right. There's a lot of that going on.
Right.
And Rashida Tlaib, of course, from the squad. Israel is an apartheid state. Okay.
This is what you got. You let people like this, and then you put them in office, jackasses? This is what you got.
Well.
Death to America. To so many people, that means nothing. And I guess because I've been out of the United States before, let me go ahead and tell you, most of the world don't like us. They're jealous, and they can't figure out how in 200-something years we've become as good as we are. So all they want to do is take us out. Like it or not, there's a lot of people in this world that way, more than are not. And for you to sit here with flowers in your hand thinking that everybody wants to be your friend, you're dead wrong.
Yeah. When you think you can buy everybody off, you're dead wrong.
You're dead wrong.
Doesn't work that way. It's often a combination. And heck, if you actually project strength, you don't often, 9 times out of 10, you don't have to fight. It's pretty much the whole Trump strategy. He scared the crap out of people all over the world. They didn't want to mess with him because they knew this guy is crazy enough to do what he said. But when you've got government by committee with the brain-dead president and nerds like Jake Sullivan and Tony Blinken running the show behind the scenes, or Victoria Nuland and whoever else running the European desk, it doesn't work out very well. Such a shame. 272-9228. Wish we could flush this administration down the toilet. Just start
Can't have it
over.
quick enough, man.
And speaking of flushing things down the toilet, this part of the program brought to you by Bath Innovations of Alabama.
Ooh, I saw a project for them this weekend. I was at a house, showing a house this weekend, and so we always laughing at the mauve sinks. This wasn't mauve. This was a green that had to be. It wasn't even avocado. It was like pre-avocado, and they were getting ready to buy the house. So we were talking strategy and things. I was like, look, what are you guys going to do with this bathroom? And the lady said, I just want to throw a grenade in there. It was that bad. So, of course, we talked about Bath Innovations. They're definitely getting a call from them as soon as they close on the house. Because I told them they can go there. You can go to their website, and they looked at a few things. I said, but the best thing to do is go to the store. Tell them what you got. Tell them what your ideas are. I said, you've got pictures of this bathroom. She said, oh, unfortunately, I do. I said, well, here you go. They can set you up brand new. And this is not an older couple, but they were just thinking already because I guess someone in their family has slipped and fell in the tub about the safety solution.
Oh, they got some great ones.
Right. And they were talking about, and I kind of giggled a little bit, the bath mats from like the 70s. I was like, no, I don't put them in
No,
there.
it's a lot better than that.
Right.
But yeah, they really do it all. And they're easy to work with. Yeah, maybe if you're not tech savvy, like you don't want to traverse a website, take photos, just take it into those guys. They'll start giving you advice. But if you are somewhat tech savvy, go to bathinnovations.com because that's where you can start to mix and match, put together whatever it is your heart desires, whether it's a quick fix to like a discolored sink or chip tub or something, or it could be you want to do a full-on remodel, especially when you see this like the ABS acrylic shower system.
Exactly.
It's really, really cool stuff. So check them out today. Again, bathinnovations.com, and you can always stop by 2331 Eastern Boulevard, and be sure to tell Brad McDowell and the team there at Bath Innovations of Alabama that Joey and Eddie from News and Views sent you. Let's go to Joe. Hey, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
All right.
Good. Awful situation there in Gaza and Israel. I feel for the innocent Palestinian as well as the innocent Israelis.
Likewise.
But having been observing what was going on in that area, this is all predictable. Now, you guys may disagree with me on that. But
no, I don't. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other point before I come back to this is the global alliance that is developing between Russia, North Korea, and Iran. And I've been listening to you guys the last couple of weeks with your isolationist policy and the anti-Biden support of the Iranians. And I'm saying, hold it now. Don't these guys remember 1939 at the Sudetenland? This is a global incident, and we're just seeing the symptom there in Palestine. It's a group, if you've been following what's been going on with the Israeli government, the unrest, they sort of lost track of what the defense of the country. Now, we as a nation are in a similar situation. The threat to shut down the government, the incident with the House Speaker, that, and of course, Tuberville, domestic issues interfering with foreign affairs. This is weakening America, just like it weakened Israel with their debate over the Constitution that they was trying to impose against the wishes of the majority of the people in that country. So it's a tough situation, and I don't know the answer, but I want you guys to make sure you keep your eyes on the alliance, the international alliance that's being developed. And I'm not going to throw China in there with them, because I think they're communists, but they're more capitalistic than these other groups. But we have to choose sides, and we have to support one side against the other. And stopping funding to Ukrainians is supporting another sovereign country invading another and taking possession of them. We can't allow that to happen. It won't stop in Ukraine. I guarantee you that. But also the Israelis, the people, are going to have to, if they want peace, they can't build a temple over the mosque, the first Muslim mosque. You would know the explosion that would take. They can't continue to take land and put Israeli Jewish settlements on that land. You're going to get this type of response. That's just my comment, and I hope you. Oh, the other thing I heard Coach Pearl, who's showing his true colors. Mm-hmm. The $6 billion is still in Doha. It has not been released to the Iranians. So please correct that, Joe. You can check that fact. That sounds good, but this political wrangling going back and forth, it should not be interfering with our international and foreign engagement. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Yeah, money's fungible, and this war in Ukraine is driving Russia and China closer together. And the kicker is, okay, just keep pumping out the money, and then what message does it send to the rest of this growing alliance if Ukraine still loses?
That you could hold the U.S. hostage for $233 million a day.
272-9228. How about this? Let's hit a break.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Joey Clark.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster.
Hey man, what's happening?
Now, I understand you radio people move a lot. Is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money?
Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man.
Your money man?
With the money plan.
I see.
So no matter
where I go up and down the dial, David has my back, I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with David Ernest. 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And he has a website at retirewithernest.com. Hey, you're on top of it today, man. I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting. Yes, I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air.
Why were you taken off the air?
Too much foul language, man. Oh my. I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. This part of the program brought to you by New Look Decorating Center. And they're at New Look Decorating Center.
I went by there today.
You did?
I went and seen Brett.
You saw Brett Lanham, the manager?
So I went by there Friday, picked up a gallon of paint.
Sure.
And he said, hey, this gallon's going to cover what you need, because I gave him wrong dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
He was right, even though the area that I needed paint was larger. He was right with 1 gallon of paint. So, but I did need some more, because now we're going to paint the second deck the same color.
Oh, okay.
But man, as soon as I walked in there, they're busy working, and then I come in there with my loud mouth. Hey, where's Brett?
Oh, wow.
So they immediately thought, is this trouble? And Brett saw me, we smiled, we laughed.
That's the guy who looks like he's wearing a pool liner again.
Did a couple jokes on Joey. Again, that one chick, she don't like the jokes. I think you might have a fan in her.
Katie?
Yeah. She's not such a fan of Joey jokes.
She likes me.
Enough to say, hey, that's not
it's
funny.
It's very clear she doesn't know me then. But they helped you out again today.
They were very helpful. In fact, we're talking about the floor coloring, so I've got some fencing and things like that. So this is just another color for that. It's working very well.
That's awesome, man.
It's great.
So you went through the New Look Decorating experience?
Yeah, twice now. Twice.
Because number one, it's a great product. Benjamin Moore product, really.
Very good product. And I'm telling you, I really thought he was wrong, because I had a good sized deck to paint, and he said 1 gallon. I almost laughed at him. He was right on the money.
There you go.
He knows what he's talking about.
So it's great product with the expertise to give you the tips and tricks.
Yes.
So you do it yourself the right way the first time, or maybe you're contracting out that job.
Good idea.
They can recommend painters, contractors.
We talked about some painters there.
Yeah.
He was surprised when I was doing it myself, but he had some to suggest.
So here's the deal, folks. You can always go to newlookdecoratingcenter.com or give them a call at 271-0007. But I really encourage you to stop by 6237 Atlanta Highway, right here in Montgomery, where Bell Road dead ends to Atlanta Highway. You'll see it in all its glory. Benjamin Moore's New Look Decorating Center. Be sure to say hi to Brett Lanham, to Jordan, and to Katie, who's also the wallpaper and fabric specialist.
I think I saw Jordan back there. He was hiding because he thought there was going to be trouble.
Oh, the guy with the pool liner shirts here. That weirdo.
Oh, he's got great hair, though. Jordan's got great hair.
But however you get in touch, be sure to tell them you heard about him here on News and Views in the afternoon. Now, I wish I was feeling better on such a day like today, but, got to power through the cold.
Power through, baby.
But here, not yesterday, Friday.
Yeah.
We were talking about the jobs numbers that were dropped. Yeah. And we were breaking down how many of these are part-time jobs or double counting because it's multiple. It's the same person working multiple part-time
jobs. That's right.
A big drop in full-time, all these things. But, we're not economists. Are you an economist? I don't know. All right. No, we're not economists. But this fella is. This is Peter St. Onge. And I really like Peter.
I do. I like this guy.
Let's listen in.
Last Friday delivered a huge job number, so big, in fact, that it sent stocks soaring on hopes of that fabled soft landing, the Hail Mary that will save Joe Biden from himself. Sadly, there were so many devils in those details that it won't be saving anybody from Joe Biden. Charles Payne summed it best, tweeting out that the jobs report was, quote, 1/3 poorly paid waitresses, 1/3 poorly paid nurses, and 1/3 government jobs. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln. The report's headline numbers were big. September non-farm payrolls leapt 336,000, which was almost double what Wall Street expected. The unemployment rate got worse, but at 3.8% is still historically low. So that's the good news. Now the bad news. For starters, just 86,000 of those jobs were full-time. Going by the employment survey, the rest were part-time. In fact, many of them were second jobs, which currently make up almost 40% of new jobs. Over the past 3 months, full-time employment has actually dropped in the United States by almost 700,000, while part-time jobs are up 1.2 million. In other words, people are taking second jobs to make ends meet, and that gets counted as record job growth. At this point, over 8 million Americans hold multiple jobs because they need the money. Almost 500,000 Americans now have 2 full-time jobs. So many jobs, you gotta take 2. By the way, the last 3 times full-time employment fell that hard was 2001, which was right before the dot-com recession. Then again in 2008, which was just before the global financial crisis. And then 2020, when governments bought us in instant depression. So spot the pattern. Beyond that night shift miracle, the other shoe to drop was people who aren't working. Workers who are either unemployed or out of the workforce took another flying leap. In just the past 2 months, unemployed Americans are up over 500,000, which is almost 10%. Meanwhile, between 4.5 and 5.5 million Americans remain out of the workforce. That's 3.5 years after the pandemic. My colleague E.J. Antoni worked out what the unemployment rate would be if we included those so-called discouraged workers who have given up. And it comes to an unemployment rate of around 6.5%, 6.3 to 6.8, which is right in line with previous recessions, given that companies hoard workers in the early days. Finally, job composition. In the last employment report, I characterized the new jobs as government workers and DoorDash, and this month kept it up. Fully 22% of the new jobs were government workers, who are, of course, parasites who collect a paycheck to crush the rest of the economy. The rest of growth was almost entirely from services, especially government-related services like education and healthcare. The actual productive economy naturally shrank. Manufacturing was down once again, while professional and business services, trade, and transportation all shrank. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. What's next is we are seeing surprisingly bad jobs numbers to be so early in a recession. So going by history, it will get a lot worse. And keep in mind, we don't know what happens in a coordinated global recession with $33 trillion in debt, paying over $1 trillion interest, along with a potential oil price explosion on the horizon. They do not have a script for this, but they'll keep pushing until it breaks, so the rest of us get to pick up the pieces. Okay, we'll be watching.
Really always love Peter St. Onge analysis there.
Me too.
Fantastic guy. And, that reminded me of, because, for instance, caller Joe, respect, a lot I disagree with, but I would just suggest a different frame. Something I wrote about months ago, but I think it still holds true. The classic quote, I love it because it's Archimedes. And he so impressed the king, I think, of Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he showed them, I could lift this ship with all the cargo and people on it with just my own arm. And they're like, with all these pulley systems he came up with. And he does it on display for the king, and the king looks at the crowd and goes, from this day forth, Archimedes is never wrong, all right? And then I think Archimedes is noted of saying, give me a lever and a place to stand and I can move the world. I think the United States continues to have some ingenious levers to move the world, whether it's our world reserve currency, our use of money. How do you think all these sanctions get put on? Whether it is our military weaponry, like go look up a showcase video on the F-22, like pretty badass dogfighter.
Nice little plane.
I don't think anybody's going to be able to compete with it. Not to mention all sorts of other things we could bring up. We have all sorts of levers to move the world and make things better for folks. But I think what we're losing is our footing, our place to stand.
Yep.
It seems like the more we use our levers, trying to move things in our direction, whether you're talking about pushing back the Russians in Ukraine or trying to keep China boxed in as they continue to slowly strangle Taiwan, or it's looking at what's going on in the Middle East today, it seems like the more we use our ingenious levers, the more we're sinking into the muck and the mire, that we don't have sound footing anymore. And what reminded me of this is, if there's a global recession coming and we're in this much debt, who the heck knows what happened? Now, through all of this, it's good to remember that it will be the people on the margins in this country and around the world, just like the innocents that are being tortured, chewed up and spit out there in Gaza and Israel right now. It'll be the innocent that bear the brunt of most of this. But we need to wake up, get our footing back. I just feel like there is not enough reflection on where we are right now. We're acting like we're the same nation we were, heck, in 1980, like we were in 1946.
The levers are good. It's those who are operating the levers are the problem.
Right.
That's no doubt in my mind.
So we'll see. I think the way the world's going, and this is what I think the Russians are actually up to, you know how prepared they were for sanctions and all the gold and all these trade deals they made with other folks in the East? I think the Russians are doing more. It's not just a cynical land grab. In fact, I don't think they have any desire to fight Poland, for instance. I think the Polish military could take them on pretty well. I don't think they have much desire to actually fight NATO. People keep wondering why the Russians holding back. It's like because they don't want to do something so provocative NATO jumps in. They don't want to fight NATO, in my honest opinion. They might if they catch Lithuania sleeping or something, but I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think it was just let's get a land bridge to Crimea, let's secure more of Ukraine, as much as we can get. I think that's a big part of it. I think this, they realized, was their opportunity to usher in what they've been constantly calling for is a multipolar world. Instead of a unipolar world where the United States is the indispensable nation that essentially runs everything, and it's been that way since the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Right.
You're now starting to see the rise of friend and foe. Like, India should be our friend, nation of billions,
frenemy,
who speaks the king's English pretty well. They should be our friend.
Yeah, they're a frenemy.
I think the English-speaking world, the Anglosphere, so to speak, definitely need to be our friends. Unfortunately, Europe should be our friends, but there's a weird relationship there. But you're definitely seeing the rise of enemies, clearly. China being the biggest among them. But I think Russia realized that, if we can push this now, it's not just about the land we're going to take and the Ukrainians we're going to kill. This is also our chance to start to get other folks on an alternative currency system. Start moving things in an alternative direction. You're already seeing in the Middle East, long before this happened with this attack on Israel, a lot of the Arab countries started to just go their own way because they realized the U.S. ain't going to back us up.
Right. We found it out the hard way.
Not to mention all the crap that's happening south of the border into South America. There's a lot, I hope Javier Milei wins. I'll put it that way in Argentina.
Me too,
but it's a world that is slowly but surely trying to get out from under the thumb of the United States.
Yep.
And the kicker is, I don't know if we have the wealth or, more importantly, the will and willingness. Maybe we're able, but are we willing?
I don't know. I think a lot of people are getting more and more tired of it every day.
And so my advice would be, okay, if this is the world that's coming our way, how can we give ourselves the strongest possible position in that world instead of pretending like it's still the Cold War? That might be, I think, the best approach.
Several things we can do that are just basic. Just basic.
Like what?
Seal your border. Just basic.
Yeah, that would help.
Just basic.
272-9228. Anything breaking right now?
There were some rockets thrown at northern Israel earlier. But
Well, it looks like the EU has now backpedaled on canceling aid to Hamas.
See? Frenemies, folks.
Top CBC editor orders reporters not to call Hamas terrorists. Well, so much for the Anglosphere. What is that, Canada? Yeah. What the hell is going on with Canada?
You get rid of Trudeau, which many of them want to, but I
No,
think
just
the fix
so
is
much
in there.
weird crap is coming out of the Great White North.
Yep.
Weird stuff. Y'all literally applauded a Nazi. A literal Nazi.
Yep.
Then you sit here and lecture us about
Whose
stuff.
administration brought that in? And whose administration, just like these Democrats do here, after they get caught doing something like that, oh, we didn't know. Did I do that?
Well, and also, here's a sign of how bad we are. They've made a controversy out of this holiday, right? Columbus Day is now Indigenous Peoples Day.
Call it what you want.
Did you have to call it Indigenous People?
Nope.
Couldn't you just made it Italian American Day? Because that's why Columbus was put up on a pedestal, literally, to help incorporate Italian Americans who were being lynched and discriminated against across the country.
Back in my day, it was Columbus Day. You know what? We had a lot less evil in that world.
But the whole point is to create the controversy. The whole point is to make you feel guilty
white guilt,
about
buddy.
your history.
Yep.
There are no heroes.
No.
Well, you know what? We're always east of Eden, folks. No matter how good you do in this world, we ain't back in paradise yet. I don't think that's happening here on this earth. There will always be imperfection. There will always be sin. Yes, and the worst among us. It doesn't mean there aren't things worth holding on to and defending with your life if need be. It seems like there's been a lot of confusion of what it is you should stand up for and fight for. Confusion or just demoralization that leads to apathy. It's a combination, I think, of many things. The wrong priorities or having no priorities at all. And I can empathize with all sorts of folks. But we need to wake up, get our house in order, get our footing back. Because, again, we've got all these ingenious levers that can move the world in this way or that. But it seems the more we use them, the more we're sinking like we're stuck in quicksand.
Yep.
I'm certainly not smart enough to solve all of it. But I don't think I'm crazy in what I'm seeing either. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by XI Repair. And there at XI Repair, Jonathan Strange and his team, well, they're ready to help you with, of course, that smartphone of yours. That's what they specialize in.
Right.
I wonder how many people go buy XI Repair because we told them to. I think it is, because the last time I went in there, I think it was Greg goes, oh, so you're Joey. I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm sure we get credited with quite a few of their clients.
And that front desk is great. For folks we haven't talked about it in a while, the Wall of Shame.
Yeah.
Where they took, they fix these smartphones up. Often it's cracked cases or screens.
Even
and
a laptop or two in there.
Yeah, and so there was one smartphone that had been shot.
9
there was a
millimeter.
bullet hole in it.
Yep.
That's up there on the Wall of Shame because they were able to fix that phone.
Yeah.
And so you see all these things they've fixed, what it once looked like, and now is a new, essentially good as new device for their customers there. So cracked screen, water damage, battery not holding the charge. Maybe you got a dirty port.
It happens.
Nobody likes a dirty port.
What happens when you drop your phone in the mud?
Right. Or it could be you want work on your laptop or desktop computer done. Top-end gaming consoles like a PlayStation 5. And they can even do data recovery work. So maybe you accidentally deleted something important to you, or maybe old family heirloom like family videos, home videos. Or it could be you're going through something like a divorce and you know that SOB you're trying to get rid of deleted some of those text messages to make himself look better in front of the judge. We're going to find them.
They can find them.
We're going to find them, Bruce. I don't know why I said Bruce, but we're going to find them. XI Repair can help you with all that. So check them out today. You can always go to xirepair.com. It's the letter X, the letter I, repair.com. Or give them a call. Make an appointment. It's 777-1234.
Right.
That's 777-1234. And be sure to tell those fine folks there at XI Repair that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
It's the 70th Alabama National Fair now through October 15th.
Tuesday night is Pink Out for a Purpose. Help bring awareness to breast cancer. Wear something pink and get in for $7. Wristbands, $20.
Let them see you in me.
Wednesday, elevate your spirit with JJ Weeks on the outdoor stage with an evening of contemporary Christian favorites.
It's the best 10 days of fall.
The Alabama National Fair.
Sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery, Hyundai Motor Manufacturing Alabama, and Coca-Cola.
Hello everyone, Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Hey, this is Ray Bowles of Prattville Carpet. And since we've been advertising on Blue Water, our sales have increased dramatically. Blue Water has a large listening audience that is very faithful to their advertisers, and we greatly appreciate that. If you're thinking about advertising for your business, I would highly recommend Blue Water.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas weather.
Hi, everybody. Our great weather continues. Temperatures are starting to moderate now. Tonight won't be quite as cool as it has been. Mostly clear skies, great night out at the fair with the low temperature down to about 53. A little warmer tomorrow with a high around 84. A great Tuesday, mostly sunny skies. Risk of scattered showers returning on Wednesday and Thursday. High both days in the upper 70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The MVP on a football field may change on any given Saturday, but the MVP in every other field is a Kubota. John Bobo with Capital Tractor. With the #1 selling compact tractor in America, Kubota equipment is a game changer. Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
Hey y'all, it's fall at Mama's Produce, and we are your fall decor headquarters. We've got all sorts of beautiful pumpkins and unique gourds, corn stalks and hay bales, wheat straw, mums, and we're still selling vegetables. So check out our Facebook page. We're constantly updating it, and we still got all of our good jams and jellies and some really cool t-shirts that we got in. So check out our gift items as well. Come see us, 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville.
Everybody loves Mamas.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon. Hey, Eddie, you want to go play some racquetball this afternoon?
I'm down. Good things happen to me on racquetball courts, Joey.
That brings back good memories?
Really good things.
Like, were you a racquetball champion?
No, but had some time, did some time in one of those courts.
Did some time? Like you were in prison in a racquetball court?
Probably like less than a minute when I'm thinking about it, but felt like I did a lot of time there. You ever play wall ball in a racquetball court?
Sure.
That's that.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of that too.
At least it wasn't a pickleball court.
Dude, I'm sorry. I can't get behind it.
Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
Hey, guys. What are y'all up to today?
Not much. Ray, are you really fishing?
Yes. Taylor, you don't have a cricket on your hook. You're not going to catch a darn thing. No, you don't. You got a bud on your hook. That's it. Yeah, we're in Hardaway. We took Taylor and our granddaughter fishing this afternoon.
Oh, that's sweet.
Sometimes you just need to play hooky and go fishing.
I agree with that 100%. Sounds like a plan.
Can y'all hear me? Because I'm out here in the woods.
I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
I hear you really well, buddy.
Okay, just making sure. Now listen, I said something Friday about a big sale. Mohawk is putting 40 different carpets on sale and about 10 different hard surface. This sale will run until November 15th, and we've got 12-month famous cash. And the whole idea is, oh, we just caught one. Well, no, never mind. It's got off. Stupid fish. Squirrel. I get so distracted so easily. So the idea in this sale is it gets us through Christmas like we always do in October.
Right.
So you don't have to necessarily do it right now. We can buy it, hold it. You got a fish? Oh, got a bait. We'll bait you just a second, baby. And we will hold it for you free of charge and put it in whenever you need it.
Oh, that's convenient.
Very convenient. Do y'all want to come out here and hook some crickets? Because it looks like I'm the...
I got a feeling Joey wouldn't hook his own cricket. I got to be honest.
Hey, don't you be talking about my hook or my cricket.
There you go. There's proof right there.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get back to fishing.
All right. Have a good one, Ray.
Appreciate it, Ray.
Guys, have a great day.
See you, brother.
That number for Prattville Carpet, 285-8117. Ask about this big sale, 285-8117. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard Ray Bowles here on the radio. Now, seriously, you don't know nothing about my hook.
So if we were to put a cricket in your hand, we'd assume you know what to do with it?
Yeah.
You know, a cricket can bite you too, right?
Yeah, I've gone cricket fishing before.
Oh, you gone cricket fishing? I've never gone cricket fishing.
I've used crickets gone fishing, you jackass.
So you use fish as gone cricket? All right. What about a worm? Are you a worm guy? Live bait in general?
No, unlike you, I don't eat them, no.
Everybody's got to eat a worm at least one time.
Ew.
You know what a worm tastes like?
Dirt?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I figured. Don't look like much. But did we learn anything new today?
We learned that we got 2 more years before any of this turns around.
Well, and I'm at the point, again, you know me, I don't love if the Republicans get elected, everything will be great.
It takes certain people, man.
No, I wish the so-called adults in the room, Democrat or Republican alike, would wake up. We're not the same country we once were. We have no defense industrial base. We hardly make anything anymore. That's what won us World War II.
Right, but here's the problem, man. These are the same people that were in power way back when. So they can't figure out how the world has changed and left them behind. In the meantime, we're the ones suffering.
Yeah. And you're just seeing so many now personal stories, like Fox is covering a New York mom fights to bring daughter home from Israel. Oh, man.
You said we got Alabamians over there.
Yeah, a few church groups over there. I know Coach Tuberville's working hard on that.
Yes.
I'm sure Senator Britt's office is as well. Yeah, and just some of the videos where you saw this rave going on, and you could see the paragliders in the background. It's just...
That's ominous, man.
Yeah, it looks like something out of a movie. At first, you just don't know what to believe.
Honestly, when I saw the video, I assumed that this was part of the show, probably just like 99% of the people that were there.
Right. And yet here we are. I think the Israelis are now they've started their operation. A lot of fighting right there around taking back control of Israel proper around Gaza, and then I don't think they're stopping anytime
No, they won't
soon.
be stopping.
What I worry about is this becomes a wider war. Actually, to Joe's point earlier, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm surprised by the tactics.
Sure.
But I'm not surprised that this has been sort of a festering issue. And again, I had hoped that something like these Abraham Accords and what Saudi Arabia was now looking into maybe could get us around this issue and stop making it the veto on peace in that region.
But are people just using that as a ploy? So you're looking one way while they're doing things the other.
Right.
And I'm telling you, if you look back at history, it'll show you they do this every single time. There are people in this world you just cannot trust. It's just the way it is.
It really is. But it's a shame to watch. A shame to see. Hopefully it's a wake-up call to a lot of folks. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat.
No.
It should just be a wake-up call in general.
If you're human, period.
But with that, we're pretty much out of time here. And also, of all days, to be still dealing with a cold. I feel miserable
Get
right
yourself
now.
Alka-Seltzer. It's the effervescence that really helps. I'm telling you.
Alka-Seltzer, really?
Yeah, I know it's old school, Joey. It's the effervescence, man. Don't put it in a big glass. About that much water. Helps.
How much NyQuil do you drink before you sleep at night?
About a quarter bottle.
A quarter bottle every night?
If we have some, yeah.
I don't know if I want to take health advice from you.
You want to sleep?
Yeah, I slept great last night
All
without
right, then.
any
You don't
of that.
need the NyQuil. I didn't suggest the NyQuil. I suggested
some of your
Alka-Seltzer.
habits, man. It's just...
Hey, do as I say, not as I do. Come on.
Let's get out of here. Greg Budell. Well, happy hour is next.